Well, the long summer talking season, yeah, we're going to continue to talk about college football. But the good news is they're actually on the field. They're practicing. They're sweating. Alabama Crimson Tide already on the practice field down in T-Town. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer coming up at 11:15. Meanwhile, we've already heard from Hugh Freeze this morning. The Auburn football team scheduled to be on the field about this time as we are here. Fall camp is getting underway. UAB's already had a couple days under their belt as well. Welcome into the program. This is Three Man Front. Landrum Roberts along with Conrad Van Order, Molly Robinson. I'm Pat Smith with you until 2 o'clock. So much to get into. But we're going to start in Auburn, Alabama this morning in regards to what is earlier this month. This is what Hugh Freeze had to say about his star wide receiver.
Based on the information who have knowledge of the matter, he's been cleared to participate in team activities.
Hugh, Joe Goodman. Who exactly cleared Malcolm to practice with the team, and did they talk with Malcolm's girlfriend?
Like I said earlier, based on the information I've been given from the administration, he's cleared to practice, and that's all the information I have.
There you go. Malcolm Simmons at practice. So we had already heard a little bit from folks around the Auburn football program that was probably the likelihood. The sophomore was arrested in Lee County on July 16th on domestic assault charges with strangulation or suffocation. His preliminary hearing is set for August 13th.
Yeah, so if you're an Auburn fan, you just wait and see because there are still charges that are pending. He still has a court date, and you have to let the legal process take place. But I don't think that was an unfair question by Joe Goodman, and just trying to get all of the facts and find out what exactly the administration knows. Obviously, they're going to be tight-lipped about it, given some of the implications, and just legally, that's always sound. But I don't really know what to make of it, Pat. That's why I asked you about it yesterday. If it was pretty clear cut and overwhelming, I would think personally that he would not be out there. But who knows these days?
Well, you just got to be careful because if, let's say, you suspend him, and let's just say you take away some of his NIL money that's already promised to him, and he is wrongly accused or he is found innocent, then he could turn around and sue Auburn for lost wages, for damaging his reputation.
Mm-hmm.
There's all sorts of fun stuff now that these kids are getting paid. So, it's just interesting that the Auburn administration did not handle this themselves and put your football coach out there to deliver the news. To me, it seems like that would have been something that perhaps would have been released by the university itself.
I agree.
24 hours ago. And then, yes, there's going to be a follow-up question to Hugh Freeze, and Hugh Freeze can give the boilerplate answer in which he gave because he can't give any other answer than what he gave.
But you can reference a statement,
absolutely.
Maybe a graphic that was put out, and not have to just
I blame Auburn University. I don't blame Hugh Freeze. I blame Auburn University. Auburn should have been the ones. I mean, if he is citing the university and what they said, then why didn't the university send out a statement yesterday saying he was good to go? So anyway, he's on the practice field.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens August 13th when he shows up in court.
It's a difficult situation to talk about because we don't know the facts, and that's what we've been saying since the very beginning, and covering enough of these, maybe not specific to these charges. Just got to let it play out, and don't want to go too far on one side or the other.
We will listen to some of what Hugh Freeze had to say about this upcoming fall camp. A lot of excitement. The word that they're using around camp is expectant. Why the term expectant? Because they're expecting to win. They're expecting to fulfill what many Auburn people have been waiting for, and that is the Auburn football program to be relevant again. And so they're hoping that this will absolutely be the course in the right direction in regards to this roster and what they have in front of them. Of course, the big one is the Baylor game, and that's coming up. It will be here before you know it. We're just 24 days away from the actual start of the college football season, 30 days away from the Auburn Tigers getting ready to take on the Baylor Bears.
And they released some of the weights of the players going back to spring and where they're checking in now, and some pretty notable players. I know Xavier Chaplin, talented offensive tackle, all SEC preseason, also could be in the mix as an All-American candidate at that position. Know that he's up 10 pounds, 15 pounds. You've got Keldrick Falk, who is up considerable amount of weight, and Jackson Arnold has put on some weight as well. But, yeah, Auburn.
But not Zach Calzada weight.
Not Zach Calzada weight, no. This is more like 7-8 pounds. I'm trying to pull up the official weights, but, yeah. And Hugh Freeze said this is going to be an exciting team to watch. I think Auburn fans and people who have been stroking those checks, no matter how big, how small, Conrad, probably expect those things.
Well, as you should, right? Because this is the year that we've all been building for, and we'll hear from Hugh Freeze, but he made it pretty clear that expectations are aware of them and they're embracing them.
Absolutely, and this is what he had to say about that word I just told you about, expectant.
It's kind of the word that I go away, as most of you know, and spend a little time in this cabin in the mountains that I've done for a long time, and just I think through, all right, what am I going to teach this year? What are the themes each week? What is the overriding word? That's the word I came up with, and I think everybody's kind of following that lead, and we are expectant. We're expecting of being a really good football team that competes in every single game and has a chance to win every game, and hopefully we're better in those critical moments, and we flip some of those close losses into wins, and we're expecting of that, and hopefully our kids are following that. And I'm teaching a proverb a day keeps stupid away during camp, and hopefully that impacts all of us also in life and in football. But the overriding theme is expectant, so I'm glad the kids are listening and they feel the same.
Well, speaking about being expectant in regards to being a winning football team, how about your team's confidence, Coach Freeze, in regards to this team heading into fall camp?
The whole deal will be they are expectant and they do have confidence, but it's not until that confidence is credible that you really grow. And the only way for it to be credible is first have success out here in fall camp doing things and finding out this is who we are, we can do this, and our players know we can do this. And it really takes off is when you have success in the win column. And that's what we've got to go do to really, I think, to be a really, really exciting team to watch, particularly or two under their belt that even grows that confidence that they have right now. But right now, hopefully we can grow that throughout camp by the success we have, but really go get a W, and then they'll really be confident.
It says a lot about what he expects from that first game in Waco, because if this team doesn't get that win, then all of a sudden that confidence and the obviously the trampoline effect of what this could mean for this football team, that could be trouble if you don't win in Waco based on what Hugh Freeze was saying today.
Waco sets the tone for the entire season. That's exactly right. But the comments from Hugh Freeze, this is the most confident and outspoken I've heard him in his first two seasons and now his third fall camp. And with good reason. You feel a lot better about your quarterback room being solidified. You've got more talent in that room than you've obviously ever had. And just go back to a couple of camps ago. Peyton Thorne was not even the clear-cut starter going into fall camp. You still had a battle with Robbie Ashford. And even last year, I don't remember hearing this kind of confidence. There was still some wavering when talking about Peyton Thorne maybe situationally and different concepts and things that he hoped that he got right. So Hugh Freeze is – at least he is exuding confidence and expectant. I guess that's the term they're using.
Reminds me of old Terry Bowden. Terry used to come up with a word every single
Audacity.
year. Yeah, for the Auburn
Awesome.
football team.
But I don't think it's crazy to think that, off that confidence, it probably comes from I would say that your third-string quarterback this year might honestly be better than any other quarterback you've had the last 2 years
I
under
agree.
Hugh Freeze. And so I think that having that kind of a depth in that room, that's going to give you a lot of confidence. It should.
He was also asked about trying to balance a lot of new guys on the roster and having the churn of a new player. You know, back in the old days, it was like, okay, let's go grab a couple JUCO guys, trying to meld those into the roster. Well, now it's just heavy turning with that in the roster churn. And also the fact that being an Auburn football player comes with a blessing.
Man, what a blessing you have. And, man, don't forfeit that blessing because the mental battles that can come with all the noise that you can see. You know, I told them last night, one of the things I'm convinced of is we have too much scrolling than they do sleeping. And, you know, and it is a mental game. And I think the teams and staff that do the best at set to buy into, man, we are a team for this given period of time. And we get to represent these and greatest fans in the country. Man, do not wait these moments that we have to stack these days to be prepared for those opportunities.
I just wonder if any of the Auburn football players will be on TikTok live playing video games like most of the Auburn basketball team did last year.
I don't know.
Do you think Jackson Arnold and Cam Coleman and those guys will be playing video games?
Yes, I do believe that they'll be playing video games.
But I mean, will they be streaming it live?
I don't know.
Like the basketball team did last year.
I don't know about that. Back in the old days, and this would even be post-Bear Bryant, back when you didn't have the restrictions as far as practice time and how long you could go, how much you could go. I wouldn't think that,
I think
that
everybody
sleep would be
bed.
a problem.
Yeah.
Now, granted, back then you didn't have social media. You didn't have the phones that you could scroll through. So maybe those guys were binge watching MASH or episodes of Cheers. Whatever they were watching back then.
Watching MASH after the 10 o'clock news?
Yeah.
Or Andy Griffith on Channel 21?
I bet that's not the case for all those players. I bet some of those guys, they get a shower, they get a meal, and they probably enjoy that sleep.
I would think you're right. Finally, Hugh Freeze this morning meeting with the media. He talks about the priority of practice for the quarterbacks to be confident this fall.
The number one priority of practice is for our quarterback to leave that field confident. And I am going back to that this year, and DJ's been awesome. I mean, you know, the respect I have for him and the job he's going to do, and we just got to, I think we've got to be really intentional about what are we do to really be prepared to have success in it, and not try to win a drill, but dirty ball period where everything's being thrown at the quarterback. The quarterback should know that, and that's fine. But if it's not that, then let's work together to make sure we're preparing him.
It's going to be interesting hearing from Kalen DeBoer. That was just a few minutes ago, where Hugh Freeze met with the media for around 30 minutes before his team took to the practice field. We're going to get Kalen DeBoer after the first Alabama fall camp. So you remember Kalen DeBoer likes to practice in the morning, whereas Nick Saban liked to practice in the afternoon.
I bet the players appreciate that morning practice right now.
Like I said, God bless you, Coach DeBoer. Thank you so much for allowing us to, because they're having fall camp in the hottest city in the state of Alabama. It's Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
And
every
it would
single
be
day.
a great day for ice cream after practice.
Oh, I
In the old days. Ooh.
and I've been very open about this. Auburn was fantastic last year. I mean, they gave large swaths of time for the media to go watch practice. It wasn't just the calisthenics and the opening drills. I mean, they actually let those guys happen than it was in years past. Minutes. Practice, and Mike 7, they were on the scene. Tight end Josh Cuevas, spring because of injuries. A sign of being limited because of not wearing braces. And also reported that freshman Marshall Pritchett, after an injury, he was at the on his leg, but he was moving around. Edric Hill was the only scholarship during the media viewing period. Linebacker Deontay Lawson, brace on his right knee. Safety Keon Sabb and cornerback Diamani Jackson were also back after missing spring with injury. So that's good news. So the guys that you did not see finish spring practice, they're all on the field. Now, whether they'll be limited, whether they'll be 100% at the beginning of fall camp, that's good news for Alabama, Conrad, that those names are right now good to go.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the first picture I saw of somebody on the field this morning was Deontay Lawson, who we know is a vocal leader on that defense, but also when he's healthy, one of the very best linebackers in the country. And you mentioned some of the other guys, but no, that's what you want. You want to go in healthy. You mentioned the tight end room. That was, as we know, in the spring, they were down to like their fourth string tight end at one point, and they were really, really thin at that position. So you just hope that they can stay healthy here over the next month or so. There's going to be bumps and bruises, obviously, along the way, but hopefully nothing too serious.
Ryan Williams was the slot receiver, and Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton were the wideouts. As we expected, those are your three.
Yep.
Those are your three wide receivers that's going to get the most playing time. So we'll hear from Kalen DeBoer coming up at 11:15. We'll try to carry those comments live, and we'll get a post-Auburn update from a practice perspective coming up later.
Well, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com.
So what does the first opponent for the Alabama Crimson Tide, what does their offensive coordinator have to say about their opponent? Yes, that's Gus Malzahn. He met with the media yesterday down in Tallahassee. We will play for you what he had to say about Week's 1 opponent, the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's all straight ahead on Three Man Front. No big surprise that at Tuscaloosa, the quarterback, Ty Simpson, he got the first team reps. Austin Mack got the second team reps. Keelan Russell, third team. So we'll see if that will play out the rest of the fall. If you have a home and you notice that you've got some cracks around the foundation of your house, or your sidewalks are uneven, the driveway is bowing, whatever the case may be, you need to call APS today, 205-951-9717. Go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. Trust me, you're going to be glad you did, because they're going to send some professionals out, and they really know their stuff. They're going to come out, and they're going to assess your issue, and they're going to give you the best detailed plan moving forward for your specific problem, and they can help you immediately and give you that free estimate, and then come up with that detailed plan of what they can do to cause or what's causing all those cracks and those problems in your foundation. And they can take care of that and can take care of the largest investment you're going to have, which is your home. Call them again. That's APS, Alabama Professional Services, at 205-951-9717. So a lot of people had media days yesterday around college football in regards to opening their fall camp. Florida State, Alabama's first opponent, coming up later the month of August, almost said later this month because we're almost there. Gus Malzahn went with the media, and he was asked about week one opponent, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and Tommy Castellanos, how his confidence level is with him.
You know, the great thing is he does have experience. You know, he was with me at UCF. He had two different offensive coordinators at Boston College, and now we're getting back to running pretty much what we did when he was at UCF. You know, we're going to play to his strengths. He's got a lot of them, you know, and going to let him play and, you know, protecting the football and getting everything right. But so far, so good. His leadership, and, you know, when we were out there in the spring, he did some really good things. And I just know for me, like, remembering what he was as a true freshman to where he is now, it's like night and day. And his skill set is, you know, is really, really high. I think everybody knows that. So I think he's in a good spot, you know, to lead our offense.
Man, it takes you back about 10 years hearing old Gus.
Yeah. Hearing that helicopter, that closed practice. Could that have been an Alabama helicopter? It was just circling.
I'll just throw it out there. So he's talking about the quarterback that he had at UCF that wasn't good enough to play for him at UCF,
Correct.
so he had to leave and go somewhere else?
That is correct.
Okay, just sorry, FSU Dave. Just
He's
had to
gotten
throw
better.
that out there.
He's gotten better. You got to protect the football.
He's got experience.
He got a lot of time to learn last year.
Look, I think that Thomas Castellanos is the ideal quarterback for Gus Malzahn.
No, it's perfect for Gus.
That is a perfect
Absolutely.
fit. His skill set fits what Gus likes to do.
Yeah, certainly does.
It'll be a great test for Alabama's defense in the first game.
Those first games, man.
Yep.
Those are rough.
Working through a lot of things.
Yeah, just ask LSU against Florida State a couple years ago.
Got to make your extra points.
That is why, if you're a Florida State fan, I think that gives you just a little bit of hope. I'm not saying winning the game, but being competitive, because you've got Gus Malzahn, you've got that quarterback coming in, and first game of the season on the road.
Yeah, and I think it's just funny because you probably have the battle of what you just said, of Gus Malzahn running quarterback, first game at home, big opportunity, and then you also have the season opener for 2017 on the other side of your brain.
Yeah, good point. All right, let's jump around some SEC sound from yesterday. Lane Kiffin opening up Ole Miss camp. It was a very pedestrian 15-minute press conference with Lane Kiffin. I was hoping that he would take a shot at Hugh Freeze's golf game or take a shot at somebody else, but he didn't. It was kind of very mundane, to be completely honest with you. But he was asked, what about this year, Coach? You are not being hunted. How is that different, and how does that make you feel going into fall camp?
It is what it is. You know, a lot of players, we had a lot of really good players that got drafted and that were on that team that were really good players, so that's understandable. You know, I do think that, again, it speaks to the program, though, like Kyle was saying walking in, you know, that a number of people have said to him, you know, before, if you would have lost a lot of significant players here, you know, you'd be looking at the voting and be, you know, at the bottom of the conference, you know, versus questions like that. Well, is it different that you're not being talked about, you know, in the top 10 of the country? So that's a good place to be for Ole Miss, that those questions are coming up now.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at my school? Huh? Why?
I was laughing at something else.
Oh, the tweet I sent you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were laughing at Lane Kiffin. I was about to.
No. I did like that. It wasn't in that clip, but in a different part, he did throw out that since COVID, Ole Miss is only behind Alabama and Georgia in total wins in the SEC. Just
Since
giving himself
COVID?
a little pat on the back.
Well, yeah.
I like that.
Since he's been there. Now, I talked to, as you all know, my sister went to Ole Miss, and she's actually in town. And I was actually having this conversation with her this morning, and she was like, I like the fact that we're not expected to be, one of the top 3 teams in the league like we were last year.
That's what it was last year. It's too much pressure.
Yeah. So.
Get to a college football playoff.
And then she immediately started taking shots at Hugh Freeze, which was hilarious.
That'll be something if Hugh Freeze gets Auburn to a college football playoff before Lane does at Ole Miss.
Yeah, that might be problematic.
That would be great.
Does Hugh call his daughter and the tweet we want to send?
I would absolutely, if I was Hugh Freeze in that scenario, say, well, this offseason, Lane, you have an invitation to come join me on the golf course, and I can teach you a thing or two.
Yeah.
Just to give it back to him a little bit.
That would be funny. All right, let's go to College Station, Texas, where quarterback Marcel Reed, who single-handedly took out the LSU Bengal Tigers last year. This is a very impressive young man. Watching his press conference yesterday, I came away, first off, I didn't have a negative feeling about him. I think he's got incredible talent. But just listening to this young man in his press conference, he is very impressive. Well, take a listen to what he had to say, because he was talking to the media and he was discussing his private jet, the NIL deal that he has. And during the summer, now he is from Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville. And so what he did is he took some of his own teammates, flew them to Nashville on that private plane that he's got the NIL deal. And those teammates at Texas A&M helped him run the high school football camp that he held there at Montgomery Bell. So take a listen to Marcel Reed, the presumed starting quarterback for Texas A&M.
My favorite thing about private jets, I don't have to wait for a flight attendant to come up the aisle and bring snacks. I can grab my own. What was the second question? The experience? Yeah, that was really good. Brightened some kids' faces that day. Being out there back in my high school, that was their first time. Dalton and York, they've been in Nashville with me before, but Casey, Jonah, that was their first time being in Nashville. Wes's first time being in Nashville, and it was all their first time seeing my high school, so they were very, excited. They came back out and said, there's no way you shouldn't have been as good as you are, I guess, because of the high school I went to. I was like, okay, thanks. But, I guess I was somewhat privileged. My dad put me in a good position, both my dad and my mom, growing up. So very grateful for that. But, yeah, we had a great time in Nashville, coaching up some kids and signing some pictures for them and, putting a smile on their face.
Impressive young man. It was a very, very nice press conference, talking about his NIL and what he did, taking his teammates back to Montgomery Bell. Yeah, as he mentioned, if you're not familiar with Montgomery Bell,
well, any of those schools up there,
you're not hurting for money.
No.
Their facilities are nicer than a lot of colleges.
I mean, it's the only high school stadium I've ever been to where they had a multi-tiered parking deck that was attached to the football stadium.
It's insane.
Love it.
It is literally extremely nice.
Their dining hall looks like Hogwarts, like the inside.
But their press box is trash. And the stadium, that area of the stadium is not very good. But the campus and everything else is.
Yeah, I just looked it up on Google. That is immaculate.
No, it's top of the line. There's no question about it.
The snacks on the private jet, that's the thing he likes best.
Yeah, but he just grab them.
I would have, and I don't know with the private jet, the layout of this particular one he's using, but I would think that the couch style seating, that's where I would go.
Yeah, or, reclining seats at least, something like that. I just like the idea of, I can have as many Biscoffs as I want. Yeah, and the peanuts too.
No problem.
Great.
Even if you don't like Biscoff, when they come by, I always feel the need to take one.
Absolutely.
Put it in my bag like I'm going to run into somebody and they're going to be like, golly, I need
my Biscoff.
I need my Biscoff. I need something sweet.
Hey,
Here
those
you go.
are good. I like those.
It's like a graham cracker.
Yeah, they're great.
Coming up at 10:45, Vegas, our very own Vegas insider, Brian Edwards, joined the program. We'll ask him what's going on with his Heisman bets because he's looking at a situation at majorwager.com who he likes. We'll also get some early NFL picks from him. 11 o'clock, Ralph Russo from The Athletic, longtime Associated Press college football writer. He will be along the program to give us his thoughts on the national perspective. And at 12 noon, we're going to go out to Big 12 territory. We're going to go to Kansas City, Missouri. Pete Mondo is going to join the program from Heartland Sports and also KCMO Radio. He's going to join the program. We'll get a little preview of what's going on in the Big 12. Can Arizona State repeat? All that straight ahead here on Three Man Front. .35, we'll talk to Brian Edwards coming up in about 10 minutes. Vegas Insider, MajorWager.com. Ralph Russo at 11. Pete Mondo at noon. We hope to effort the sound from Tuscaloosa, Alabama at 11:15. The post-practice comments from Kalen DeBoer coming up in just about an hour. Is that old tree leaning a little bit too close to your house? Don't wait for the next storm to make that decision for you. Call Golston Tree Service today, 205-337-4443. Your trusted local experts in fast, affordable, professional tree removal, trimming, and cleanup. Licensed, insured, and ready to handle any job, big or small. Call Golston Tree Service today at 205-337-4443. When it comes to your trees, don't risk it. Call Golston today, 205-337-4443. Last night in Kansas City, Missouri, the Royals took out the Braves 9-6. The most concerning aspect of that game, it was not the fact that the Braves lose again. It was the fact that Ronald Acuna Jr., he was removed in the 6th inning with right Achilles tightness. Snitker told the media after the game that he will go on the IL. It's something that he had injured the day before. and he ran after a couple of fly balls in the outfield, and you could tell that something was going on, said it was tight, so they took him out. Now, to Acuna's credit, Acuna wanted to stay in the game. Like, he was motioning for the bench and Snitker, for those guys to know, like, y'all stay put, I'm good. But Braves smartly overruled him and said, you're coming out.
You're the only asset we have that we want to protect, or one of them. I would say that's the highest. That's a good deal. It's not a Soroka type snap of the Achilles.
Oh, yeah, that's out. You might not be playing next year if you completely tear that Achilles. Do you even bring him back at this point, though?
I don't know. As a take it or leave it as a Braves fan, if you're concerned about it, I don't have to see him again this season.
I mean, the only reason you
to be
keep
fair, I
playing
don't have to
him
see
is,
this team again this season.
Well, I was about to say, right? You want to put butts in seats, and he's going to be a big draw, but it feels like, I don't know. I feel like if I was the Braves, I'd probably sit him and Strider down and say, it's been a really bad year. Y'all are our most valuable assets. Take the rest of the year off. Let's gear up for next year.
No question. The Braves' 8th loss in 10 games, and it was the 6th time the Braves have allowed 8 or more runs in that span. They were 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position and stranded 11 runners last night. Eric Fetty, who you got from my Birds, he went 4 2/3 innings, 4 unruns, and you heard Snitker after the game. I just laughed. He goes, what'd you think of Fetty? Snitker. Well, we got to have someone to take the ball and pitch.
Wasn't our first choice, but who are we left with?
I mean, it is what it is at this point.
Braves
Carrasco
actually
pitching tonight?
No, it's Wentz.
Yeah, it's Wentz.
Yeah.
It actually hasn't been terrible.
It's a 1 o'clock start today. In wonderful, I'm sure it's very cool in Kansas City at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
It's going to be beaten down. Ugh. Awful. But the fact that the Braves were able to actually hit Seth Lugo, who's been really good.
Hey, listen, it was good for the Braves that Ozuna hit a home run, right?
It's good for Ozuna.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's good for the Braves because they'll get some return for Ozuna.
That's a couple of home runs. Isn't that crazy as we get to the trade deadline, and he knows that he is a wanted commodity by some teams?
Got that adrenaline going.
All of a sudden, that bat.
But the oddest story about the Braves came out last night as Whit Merrifield went on a podcast, and he told a very interesting story about being with the Braves last season. Take a listen.
Last year when I was with the Braves, one of the pitchers on the team last year, I won't say his name because I don't know if he'd like me sharing this, but before he pitches, we would go and there'd be like a group of like 5 or 6 of us that would go take a shot.
Love that.
One game, Usher was in town throwing out the first pitch, and he threw out the first pitch. We're all getting warmed up, go in the dugout. The pitcher comes in. We go upstairs to the locker room, and Usher's exiting. And I yell at him. I go, Usher, you want to take a shot? And he kind of laughed, and his manager was with him. He goes, I think he's serious. So Usher was like, yeah, I'll take a shot. So he came over, and there was like 8 of us around, and Usher did the salute, said, like, you know, hope y'all win or something like that. And we took a shot with Usher before the game. And then
That's
we won.
awesome.
So then we're like, we need Usher around all the time. Man.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things that's ever happened to me was taking a shot pregame with Usher.
So I did a little research. So Usher threw out the first pitch of the Braves game on September 14th against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Braves won the game 10-1. Usher's appearance was part of Usher Night at the Park, which also included a bobblehead giveaway. Do you have that one, Landrum? The Usher bobblehead?
No. I don't.
You do not?
It's a collector's item.
I just have players.
Okay, so based on what Whit Merrifield said, he said the starting pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm. And who was the starting pitcher that night?
That'd be Chris Sale.
Okay.
I could see Sale taking a shot.
So, yeah, Chris Sale was the starting pitcher that night and got the win. Matter of fact, it was his 17th win of the season. So, if Whit Merrifield, what he said was true, so do you think this is something that Chris Sale does all the time before a start, that he goes and takes a shot of whatever?
It wouldn't surprise me. It's more in line with his personality than Spencer Strider. Seems like he's a guy that's kind of like Tom Brady about his body.
He's a health nut.
Yeah, I showed you guys the video of him just on an off day when he was not pitching, some of the things that he was doing apart from the team.
Does that bother you that a pitcher that is currently on the IL did shots or does shots before he pitches?
No.
Doesn't bother you?
Mm-mm. Chris Sale won a Cy Young.
I was about to say, if you're doing that in the middle of the season he had last year, guess that's what he was doing back in his White Sox days. He must have been taking a shot before every game.
Yeah, if he was stumbling out there like, what's his name in Major League?
Do you think the Braves were happy that Whit Merrifield kind of pulled the curtain back and talked about how the players for the Braves were getting snockered before they went out and played the Dodgers?
I do think that probably someone in management was like, in front office, wait, this is actually going on? But they're probably drinking every game now.
Well, and he tried to be courteous and say, well, I'm not going to say the guy's name. It probably took you, 5 minutes to figure that out, Pat?
It was a couple websites, and I was like, there you go.
You could
Sale.
figure that one out pretty quickly. But, hey, Chris Sale strikes me as the kind of guy, he's going to go out there, give you 7 shutout innings. He's going to go crush a cold one in the shower. And that's just business for him.
Hey, the fact that he can be at pitch 101 and he's got 98, 97, 98 left in the tank to throw at that point, take another shot.
I was about to say, we were talking not long ago. Guys used to just be smoking heaters in the dugout. Maybe that's a little different than a shot, but if it works.
That's what I want to see. I want to see.
If he's taking shots, just go out there and pitch. Don't be on the IL. Go pitch. Liquor it up. Big deal.
Does that help your rib cage?
I don't know.
Now, maybe a couple of shots, you don't really feel anything after that point. You can go out there, but
what do you think? What do you think the liquor of choice is? Would it be Fireball?
Don't ask me.
That would be appropriate for a pitcher.
Here's some peach schnapps, guys. Pass it around.
It's the gateway before leads to a clubhouse filled with other.
Was it Red Sox pitchers in the bullpen eating the chicken and drinking beer? That story that came out that they were eating fried chicken and drinking beer.
And there's an interesting story about David Cohn, who's at the New York Mets in the bullpen.
Hey, there's a guy for.
Did that involve another person, or was that?
No, it was by himself.
You had a guy throw a no-hitter, perfect game on LSD?
Yep. Doc Ellis. Sure did. Coming up next, MajorWager.com, Vegas insider Brian Edwards joins the program. 1047 on Jox, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You can hear him each and every Wednesday on this program. Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider, MajorWager.com. Brian, I hope you're doing well. We are so fired up because actual footballs are being thrown on practice fields, not only in the NFL, but Alabama and Auburn started fall camp today. So outside of your team, the Florida Gators not having a quarterback because Lagway is now injured for the rest of the year. I know you're very... Isn't that the story? Isn't that what you told me, Landrum?
That's what I heard.
That Lagway was out for the rest of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I feel like if his, if he is cutting his fingernails and a little over on one finger, it's going to be a story from now on. Minor calf injury, guys.
Is he soft?
Wait, is it
No.
minor? Is that what you said?
Is he soft?
Very minor calf injury. He might miss a few reps today. All good.
All right, so let's
Snowflake Lagway.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's his nickname. At least that's what Florida State people are calling him. All right, so let me ask you this. Go ahead.
There's a good thing. There's a good thing to this. I don't know if you were going to go to Heisman or
I was.
NFL
Yeah, I was going to I was going to take Lagway, what the odds are. Does this injury affect it, or your idea of a good money investment for the Heisman?
Well, it's hilarious. I had not even gone to look until I just looked, and it's now 25-1 based on this report. So we're getting better odds. I love it. So DJ Lagway is my 1-unit play to win the Heisman. 6-1 as a
You are
starter
such a
last year.
homer. You are such a
Oh,
homer. Come on. I thought it was all about the green. It wasn't about the blue and orange. It was about the green.
Exactly.
He loves him some blue and orange. doesn't he?
Exactly. The green has to do with the eye test, and that's elite NFL arm talent. And the only loss when he started last year, he went 6-1, was against Georgia. Florida was up by 7 and had the ball late second quarter when he left the game injured. His stats weren't that flashy, but look, he's got a lot of like Heisman showcase games. I mean, he gets Nussmeier in week 3. He gets Carson Beck in week 4. In week 6, he goes against Arch. And then, maybe Austin Simmons is in the Heisman race. He gets Georgia late in the year. They're at Ole Miss November 15th. So plenty of showcase games for him. So I did him 1 unit, and then I took 2 long shots for 0.2 units. Now, I haven't looked at these updated odds, but Haynes King was 90-1 at DraftKings about a week ago. And, and then Sawyer Robinson is 80-1 at Baylor. And both of those guys, kind of like Lagway, have early opportunities to, kind of state their case. So Baylor's got Auburn in week 1, and they're at SMU in week 2. And in week 4, they host Arizona State, a CFP team last year that, maybe Levitt is considered, their QB is considered maybe a Heisman guy. We'll see come week 4. But look, Phil Steele's national unit rankings have Baylor number 12 at quarterback, number 19 running back, 21 wide receiver, 23 O-line. They're definitely going to be a factor in the Big 12 race, and I'm high on Georgia Tech as well. Haynes King, fantastic last year, as he had a 14-2 TDI-INT ratio and 11 rushing touchdowns, and he's got Clemson in week 3, and he's got Colorado on Friday night on ESPN in primetime week 1. So, probably going to lose the 2 long shots, but and then 1 unit on Lagway, and now you can get him at 25-1 rather than he was at 18-20, in the last week or 2.
So do you like Baylor in that opener versus Auburn on Friday night in Waco?
Nah, well, I'm just going to watch the line, see what kind of injuries we got in August. No opinion right now.
Okay. NFL. For folks who have never heard you, you were very high on the Commanders. That was your team in the NFL. To revisit your team total of wins for the upcoming NFL season, why do you like Washington, and what's that number?
So they're 9.5. I've got them going 11-3 with 3 swing games. I've got the swing games being at Green Bay, Detroit at home, and Philadelphia at home. I've got them losing at the Chargers, but they can win that one. I've got them losing at Kansas City. They can win all of these. And I've got them losing at Philly. And it's 9.5, minus 115 to the over. So they got better, in my opinion, in the offseason. They got Laramie Tunsil in a trade. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's only 30. I still think he's one of the top 5 offensive tackles in the league. They got Deebo Samuel, who's in a contract year, very motivated to get another contract next offseason. And Jaden Daniels, if he's healthy, is not going to have a sophomore slump, and he stayed healthy last year. And so I'm very bullish on Washington. And, there we go.
All right, let's talk about the Detroit Lions. 10.5 wins. I think that is what Vegas has installed their win total for this year. What's your feeling about Detroit and perhaps maybe being the NFC representative in the Super Bowl this year?
Feel great about it. I feel like they would have been there last year. They went into the playoffs with 6 starters on defense out for the season. And then on the second play against the Commanders, starting corner Amik Robertson got hurt. So except for the first 2 plays of the Commanders game, they were without 7 starters on defense. I think if they're healthy, that I think they win the Super Bowl last year. They only lost 2 starters from the number 1 offense in the NFL that averaged 33.2 points per game. It was 2 O-linemen, 2 good ones. Frank Ragnow retired, and Kevin Ziegler went to Tennessee in free agency. However, they drafted Tate Ratledge in the second round, 2-time All-American offensive guard from Georgia. And the guy they drafted out of Boston College, Christian Mahanani or something close to that. He started 2 games late in the year last year and played well. He was probably going to be – he was a 6th pick last year, I think, but he was going to be a lot higher pick than that. He tore his ACL his next to last year, so it was kind of injury concerns. But I think their O-line is still one of the best in the NFL. Defensively, they lost a good corner, Carlton Davis, but they got a good corner in DJ Reed. I think they're going to be just as good as last year. And I love the Lions over 10.5, which is actually plus money, plus 115. I've got them 11-3 with 3 swing games. The 3 swing games at Cincy, at Kansas City, and at the Rams. I got them losing at Baltimore, losing at Washington, and at Philly. But I think Detroit probably wins 12. So the over on that one.
Hey, less than 30 seconds. Lions-Chargers tomorrow in a meaningless football game. Who do you like?
Are you playing it?
I don't bet all-star games or preseason NFL.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Soft.
Come
Just like your
on.
quarterback.
Yeah. Man.
Sorry.
Come
It's going to be a
on.
bunch of 4-stringers that don't play in the NFL this year are going to be in the game the whole 4
But they
seasons.
want to play, and they play hard.
I don't care. I don't bet preseason or all-star games. Sorry.
Brian, we appreciate the time as always, my friend. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, fellas. Y'all have a good one.
Ryan Edwards on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. Ralph Russo, AP, talking college football next.
It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back in. It's hour number 2. The Auburn Tigers, Alabama Crimson Tide, both on the practice field this morning. We'll hear a little bit later this hour from Kalen DeBoer. Already heard from Hugh Freeze earlier this morning as the Auburn Tigers getting ready to start fall camp this afternoon. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, Ralph Russo, longtime Associated Press college football writer, now with The Athletic, joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Ralph, I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great. Good to talk to you guys.
Listen, we're ecstatic because we can actually forget about court proceedings or NIL and transfer portal. I bet you when you started at the AP many moons ago, you did not think that you were probably needed to minor in college with a legal degree with all the things that you had to write about over the course of the last 12 months.
Oh, guys, like I now am Ralph Russo, political reporter with sources in D.C. I'm covering executive orders and bills trying to move through Congress. Definitely not what I signed up for. It certainly made the job interesting and challenging, but I would much rather be talking ball.
No doubt about it. Okay, so the SEC Football Media Days wrapped up a couple weeks ago. Just your initial impressions as you walked out of there in regards to where the SEC and the pecking order potentially could be this fall.
Yeah, okay, just to clarify, I kind of sat out media days with all the political stuff that I was chasing around.
I got you.
However, as an AP voter now, which is an interesting thing for me after years of being on the other side of the poll, I've certainly been immersing myself in a lot of preseason content and trying to get up on the teams. And yeah, I do think there is an interesting pecking order in terms of I think there's probably 3, maybe 4 teams that I look at and say that team can win a national championship, with Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and maybe LSU in that 3. What's of course interesting about Georgia and Alabama is the uncertainty at quarterback, because nothing can undermine a really good roster like wonky quarterback play. As folks down there have seen firsthand in the last couple of years out of both Alabama and Auburn. Yeah, and then, of course, that next sort of very big group of I don't know if these teams could win a national championship, but boy, there's probably 6 or 7 of them that I think could contend for a playoff spot. I mean, you might even be able to stretch that down to 8, depending on what you think of Tennessee and Ole Miss, which have a lot of turnover coming back, but generally pretty talented rosters. So it's really hard to sort of sort through that second tier as well.
Ralph, you mentioned quarterback play. There's uncertainty at that position for several teams. Heading into the season, we hear a lot about Arch Manning, but who is the best quarterback in your eyes in the SEC?
Yeah, so as much as there is some uncertainty with certain teams, right? And again, you guys have maybe the most uncertainty in terms of Alabama because of the high ceiling and the very little experience. There are some really good quarterbacks in the league, which of course is another interesting dynamic, right? If do the teams with the good quarterbacks and the established quarterbacks have a little bit of an advantage? I am hesitant to say Arch because we have not seen enough of him, but I am pretty confident he's going to be really good, right? Is he going to be 1-1 draft pick overall, Heisman Trophy winner good? I don't know. I'll save judgment on that. But as I've been telling a lot of people, sort of my assessment on Texas almost won a national championship the last 2 years with Quinn Ewers. I'm pretty confident Arch can be as good as Quinn, right? Which is a pretty good college quarterback. Yeah, which is a pretty good college quarterback, Sellers is probably the highest ceiling of all just because he's such a remarkable athlete. I am not really totally on board with the Nussmeier hype. Not that he's not a good player, but again, I'm not sure if I'm seeing this guy who is, again, maybe a top 5 draft pick, which you hear a lot of. So I'm not really sure. He's a really good player. He's probably the most established of all of them. You kind of know what you're going to get. But I just think he's not as good as maybe some other folks think? maybe. I don't know if I really answered your question there, guys. As much as I sort of, those are sort of the buckets I look at when I'm sort of like sorting through these guys. Again, it would be tempting to put Arch as number one, but maybe I would probably have Sellers as the best one, just because of the high ceiling and what a great athlete he is.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're going through withdrawals down here because the last two national champions have come from a Yankee conference, have come from the Big Ten. So my next question has to do with Penn State. A lot of love in a lot of different preseason magazines. They've got them tabbed number one. Not sure if the AP will ultimately have them number one in the preseason. But give us your thoughts on the Big Ten, because whether it's Penn State or Ohio State, they're going to be very well represented again in the college football playoff. But is this the year that James Franklin not only knocks on the door, but he actually kicks it in?
Yeah, I think that is a massive question, right? I think there's a lot of when you look at Penn State, when you look at this year's Penn State, there's a lot of echoes of the last two national champions in Michigan and Ohio State, in that these are teams that brought back a lot of experienced players, right? Guys who passed on NFL opportunities to sort of give it one more go, right? To unfinished business kind of deal, right? That Penn State has that with Aller and the two running backs and some of their key defensive players, Zane Durant on the defensive line, some of their offensive linemen, right? They sort of bring the band back for one more go of it, which is very similar to what Michigan and Ohio State did. I think the questions sort of become very much focused on how good is Aller. We saw that he can be quite good in moments, but also be kind of disastrous, right? I mean, like there's really no way around it. Like the interception he threw at the end of the Notre Dame game lost them the game. And then, of course, the attention on Franklin and his 1-14 record against top 5 teams, 4-20, I believe it is, against top 10 teams, and can big game James like win big games. I would sort of suggest that, like, if not now, when, right? And they're going to have the opportunity. But I would also, sort of say, like, look to last year's Ohio State team. We're in a new world, right? You can slip up a little bit in the regular season. You can lose a couple of games, still make the playoff, and then it all comes together at the end. I see Penn State sort of as somewhere in between the Michigan 2023 champion and the Ohio State 2024 champion. Maybe a little more talented than the Michigan team, though that Michigan team was crazy experienced and had a lot of like grown men playing for it, 5th and 6th year players, but maybe not quite as talented as last year's Ohio State team, which not only brought back a bunch of experienced guys, but brought back a bunch of experienced guys who were being drafted in the 1st and 2nd rounds.
Ralph, from the Big Ten, I want to swing over to the ACC. How much are you buying the Clemson Tigers, not only being a college football playoff contender, but contending for a national title?
So I have a little trepidation with some of the hype. I've seen a lot of like Clemson is sort of a top 3-ish team. And listen, I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs. If you say they're in the top 3 and I say no, they're only in the top 7, is that much of a difference? Right. But the one place where I tend to get a little bit worried about Clemson is their defense did not sort of play up to the parts, right? They have a lot of high level 1st round draft pick talents, defensive line with Woods and Parker, really good in the defensive secondary. Like they've got guys who are like, oh, like that's a stud, like they should be good, but for whatever reason last year they couldn't stop the run. Like they didn't play like an elite defense, even though they have elite defensive players. Bring in Tom Allen, the former Indiana coach, who did a good job at Penn State as defensive coordinator last year, to fix that. And I just wonder, can he? Right? Like, I mean, so you can tell me about all the high-level elite, individual players, but they actually have to play well defensively. So my biggest concern with Clemson is, does the defense play better? I know they have good defensive players, but do they have a good defense?
Ralph Russo joins us from The Athletic, national college football writer for The Athletic. Wanted to ask you about the Big 12. So last year, out of nowhere, Arizona State wins the league. They make it to the college football playoff. Is it their league again to lose, or is there going to be another surprise team coming out of the Big 12 that potentially could be a CFP team?
Yeah, I would say both, right? Like
Right.
it's the nature of the Big 12, right? I do think when you look at what they have coming back with Levitt, the wide receiver Tyson Jordan, or Jordan Tyson. I often screw that one up. They have probably the best looking returning roster coming back. So like, I think it's fair to make them the clear favorite. The fact of the matter is the nature of the Big 12 is what happened last year, which is if you are healthy, have a couple of guys develop, make some kicks, win a couple of close games, the difference between finishing ninth in the Big 12 and contending for a Big 12 championship and finishing in the top 3 or 4 is the margin is just very small. Is there another team that can go literally from worst to first? Because that's essentially what Arizona State did this year. You know, I don't know if I would necessarily bet that. I kind of look at some of those bottom teams and think maybe if I squint, I see a path for Cincinnati. But more realistically, I think you can go down to about the 7th or 8th team in the Big 12, predicted standings and make a case that team could win it. Oh, TCU. Oh, yeah, I could see them winning it. Oh, Baylor. I could see them possibly making a run. Colorado, a lot of question marks with Sanders, with Coach Prime coming back after his illness and not having Shador. But like I can see a path for about 8 or 9 teams contending for that championship. But I think it's also fair to put Arizona State as as the clear favorite or as the favorite. I don't know if there's ever going to be a clear favorite in the Big 12.
And Ralph, you just laid out some of those teams that could fall in line with my next question. Arizona State, Indiana. Nobody saw that coming last year for the college football playoff. Who are potentially some of those teams that you're keeping an eye on this season?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I was literally just talking with one of my colleagues at The Athletic because he's trying to write the story of like who's this year's Indiana, to which I said, I don't think it's possible. Those were such outliers. Like we try to find these teams that come off the radar, but Indiana was 3-9, a historically terrible program. So I don't know if we'll ever get like another Indiana, but if you start looking like who maybe was around 500 last year that maybe pops this year. In the Big Ten, I can't help but look at Washington. Really good quarterback in Damon Williams. This kid could end up being sort of like very much an under-the-radar player who becomes a big star, still building along the lines in Jed Fish's second year. Look at in the SEC, again, if you're looking for teams that maybe won between 5 and 7 games and trying to figure out who could be a contender among those teams, why not Auburn, right? Like, if Jackson Arnold is what we thought he could be, very good receivers. Also a team that probably underachieved last year relative to its, how it played relative to its win-loss record, right? Like that was a team. I'm a tend to be a numbers cruncher. That was a team that probably should have won a couple more games if it just plays a little better red zone football, right? and doesn't make a couple of disastrous mistakes. So for a team that won 5 and 7 last year, maybe that's a team that could make a big jump this year and all of a sudden be a 10-win team. Again, it's hard to find that Indiana because it was such an outlier, but those are a couple that come to mind that were sort of mediocre last year, and you wonder if maybe this year they have a very drastic turnaround.
Ralph, you have a very interesting perspective on polls because for many, many years you helped run the AP Top 25 poll. Now you're actually going to be voting in the AP Top 25 representing The Athletic. And I saw on social media there's been some folks that they just want to do away with any type of preseason poll at all. And I thought you gave a very good reason on social media over the weekend. And for those that may not have seen it, just your 411 in regards to your thoughts on a preseason poll and why it is important, especially for the fans.
Well, so I do think listen, it's a it's a tradition in college football at a time where there's very little tradition. All the other traditions are being worn away, right? So there's an element to be argued for it, for like, this is part of what we do in college football. Why would you get away from it? I also believe it tends to be overstated. I think anecdotally, a lot of people talk about how, well, the preseason polls put teams that aren't ranked at a disadvantage, and it creates a situation where, you know, you have to sort of overcome your expectations, or you get a benefit of doubt, right? And I think there's a little of that early in the season, but I don't think the evidence bears that out over the course of a full season. But more importantly, like, ranking teams is what we do in sports. like my team is better than your team, and if the AP and the coaches poll went away with preseason rankings, like, you guys would put out a top 25. Like,
Sure.
This is just like, it's just impossible. Like, everybody has a top 25. Everybody has a ranking. Even in pro sports, we do power rankings and preseason predictions. It's literally like the lifeblood of sports conversation is like predictions and forecasts and who's better.
Sure.
So I don't know how you stop it. I don't know, like if the AP and the coaches poll stopped doing it, others would fill the vacuum, and there would still be essentially like preseason expectations and a pecking order of some sort, because that's what sports fans do.
No, you're right. And by the way, you know, the Big Ten has really never had an official preseason. It's Cleveland.com for many years.
Exactly.
Have put that out. Now, we in the media down here in the South, we've always done the media poll. We've majority of the time, we've gotten it wrong. I mean, it's been really bad of how we've predicted it. So I'm like you, whether the official AP or coaches poll, whatever the case may be, if they did go away, there's going to be a radio station like ours, or Feinbaum's going to come out with his list, whatever the case may be. It's really irrelevant in regards to those that are screaming at the clouds that it should be done with.
Yeah, I would just also say that, like, we know more than we, I think, want to let on.
Sure.
I think there's this idea that, like, well, nobody knows anything, so how do you know what these teams are going to be? It's like, well, guys, like, you know, last year Ohio State was number 2 in the preseason poll, and they finished number 1. We had a pretty good idea Ohio State was going to be good last year. Like, I understand that, like, we talk about, oh, we get it wrong all the time, but we actually get a lot of stuff right because we're not working in a zero information space. Like, we know these players and coaches, and yes, there's more turnover than ever on the rosters, but we're not working with zero information. We can take the information we have and make some educated guesses. And frankly, you know, again, like, I think we probably don't give ourselves credit enough. And when I say we, I'm not even talking about like the voters. I'm talking about like just people who follow college sports in general. It could even be fans. Like, we actually do a better job than maybe we think of like getting a pretty good idea of how these teams are going to do before the season starts.
He is Ralph D. Russo. You can find his work there, senior college sports writer for The Athletic, at Ralph D. Russo, ATH, there on X. Ralph, we always appreciate the time. That means that we're about to start college football, and we love it down here, and I know you love it wherever you are.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate the opportunity to come on at any time.
Hey, thank you so much, Ralph. Ralph joined us, as all of our guests do, on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Let me tell you about my friends up at Artec Tractor in Jasper. They're your local family-owned dealer for Mahindra, the toughest tractors on earth. Artec has the new groundbreaking 1100 and 2100 series compact tractors, and now with 0% finances for 84 months plus $2,000 cash back. There's no reason to wait. Stop by Artec Tractor in Jasper for a test drive or see their complete inventory at artectractor.com. Mahindra Tractors, outworking the field.
Fall practice underway on the plains of Auburn, also in Tuscaloosa. We'll get you updated there as we continue Wednesday edition of 3-Man Front on Jox.
Great conversation with Ralph Russo, formerly of the Associated Press. He was in charge of the AP Top 25 poll. He is now the national college football writer for The Athletic. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, he really does. I really like Ralph. I've always respected his work. You know, when I asked him about that team, and I think it's fair, taking a team like Indiana and what they did last year, maybe you don't have that team, but could Georgia Tech be that team this year?
Possibly.
Got all your running backs back. Offensive line's back. You feel good even if Haynes King is not available for the entire season with Philo. Feel pretty good about this is a team that went 7-6 last year, had a lot of close games, but the exception of Clemson and Georgia at the end of the year, I think that this could be a 10-2 team.
If there's a team, Molly, out of the Big Ten that potentially could be the next Indiana, could it be Indiana again? Could it be Nebraska? I'm not setting you up for you to say Nebraska, but Nebraska has been mentioned as one of those teams that will take that next step.
Really not trying to be a homer, but I do think that is Nebraska's like ceiling.
Kind of like what Indiana was.
Yes.
Last year.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Iowa being that team.
Absolutely not.
No.
It's you or Illinois, Molly.
It's got to be us.
Well,
please be y'all,
and then
not
Illinois. Is Illinois that team? How much better
It's your fault if it's Illinois, not Nebraska, by the way.
No, it's Brett's fault.
How much better is Washington this year? He mentioned them. How much better is a Michigan State this season? Just thinking of some of the other teams that have been down that typically aren't down. Those would be a couple that come to mind.
Well, here's the thing. Not that Indiana has a tough schedule, but don't think for a second that not everyone on that schedule will be ready for Indiana this year.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot different.
Yeah.
Having the expectations being the way they are. But, I mean, I really do like Nebraska as potentially being that team.
Oh, yeah.
In the Big Ten.
In the top half of the Big Ten, we play Penn State and Michigan, and that's it. We don't have Oregon. We don't have Ohio State. We don't even have Illinois.
Hey, and you got Penn State where? Happy Valley?
It's in Happy Valley.
Oh. Yeah. I was going to say, man, y'all were playing them in Lincoln.
Now, if you get in the playoff over Alabama, Molly, we're going to have some tough conversations.
I will never let you hear the end of it if that happens.
That would be glorious.
We'll bring in a counselor or, I don't know, somebody, mediator maybe.
And speaking of that, we are working out the details. We are dealing with, is it Don King Productions that we're dealing with about maybe next week's fight that we're going to have at Social Taco?
Yes.
Are we doing it next week?
That's the initial plan. We were talking to the promoters this morning.
It depends on how you're doing on Monday after the Hot Chip Challenge.
Yeah, the Hot Chip Challenge is
12:30.
Yeah, 12:30 is the Hot Chip Challenge for Conrad.
I'd forgotten about that until you just said that.
Bama Hater has challenged Conrad to a one-on-one debate. It's going to be civil. It's going to be college football, mono versus mono. So it's going to be good stuff.
He's laid out all the topics he wants to hit on.
Yes, we'll
all
see
of his
here.
talking points.
Are you going to be Jake Tapper?
Yeah.
Jake Tapper.
So these are the topics that you have to look forward to. According to Bama, I told him he could pick whatever he wanted. The topics will be the current state of Miami and Alabama football, the 2024 college football season, the 2025 preseason rankings and conference title / playoff chances for both programs, the fan base hype for both programs. Those are the talking. I said he could pick whatever he wants. That's what he gave me.
Very nice. See, I'm glad that you guys are being cordial. I'm glad you guys are setting this up properly. Me and Landry will make sure that.
I think we should select a couple of topics.
No, we will.
That we throw out to them.
We're not letting them.
They're not ready
the terms.
for. No. Like
that's fine.
Barefoot versus socks.
Could be beneficial. I know which side I fall on. Where does he fall? Who knows?
But the major negotiations is going on the undercard. That's the one that we're having the most difficulty. Because Damian wants to take on Don Don. Because they were getting into a lively conversation yesterday at Social Taco, and it got loud. I heard some profanity back and forth between Don Don and Damian.
Where was the profanity coming from?
Well, I'm not going to disclose which one it was coming from because that would put them in a bad light.
Oh, okay.
But it got heated. And the week before they had
They
hugged.
buried the hatchet.
They had hugged.
Yeah, they did. They embraced.
I was just thinking, I don't think I've ever heard Don Don cuss. There it is.
He's pulling the old Whit Merrifield, vaguely not telling you who it is, and then in 30 seconds you figure out who it is.
Well, I just pulled the Whit Merrifield by that comment. Yeah. So it was Damian cussing like a sailor.
So Don was having an interesting conversation with Damian yesterday about if things don't work out for Hugh Freeze this year, who would be next on tap
yeah.
at Auburn.
He threw out a couple of names.
And Don threw out a couple of names, and Damian basically told him he was crazy.
Well, on one name, how Don jumped up and was giddy with joy, clicking his heels, and that's what Damian took exception to. And he was like, you're going to get all excited about that particular guy over what you currently have, which I agree in that particular situation. But
So not a guy worth getting excited over?
Oh, I think people will get excited on both hands.
Okay.
If it plays out.
Yeah, if it plays out. Yeah. All hypotheticals.
Which, no, Hugh Freeze is going to be there 15 years.
Speaking of Hugh Freeze, what was the tweet that Michael Casagrande tweeted out? Do you have that handy?
Can you grab it?
Do I have it handy?
Yeah, do you have it handy?
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Yes, I do. Michael Casagrande. This is a quote from the Hugh Freeze press conference that was not in one of the clips we played for you earlier. The quote is, "You need length and girth in this league."
It just means more. Length and girth.
I must have missed that part because I was listening to the press conference this morning, and I don't remember him saying that. But if Michael Casagrande, who's an outstanding reporter, and he tweeted that out, then he must have said that at some point in time during his press conference.
Yeah. And speaking of girth and getting heavier, they released some of the weights that were out. Jared Smith, talented 5-star edge guy. He's apparently put on 15 pounds, which is
Do you have his
interesting.
length?
No, but his
girth and
length
length
was
is so
mentioned about his length is a problem, and now with him being as athletic as he is, the weight comes in. Keldrick Falk is up 15 pounds. He's up to 285. You've got Deuce Knight, who only gained 4 pounds. Jackson Arnold is up 8 pounds. He is now listed at 219. And Xavier Chaplin, the talented offensive tackle from Virginia Tech, he is up 10 pounds to 348.
We hope to go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as they're still on the practice field. About 10 minutes ago, they were still on the practice field as practice number 1 for the Alabama Crimson Tide this fall. We hope to hear from Kalen DeBoer coming up sometime this hour. At 12 noon, we'll go to Kansas City, Missouri, get a Big 12 preview by Pete Mundo from KCMO Radio. That's all straight ahead on this edition of Three Man Front. Alabama is off the practice field. We hope to have some audio for you from Kalen DeBoer as he's meeting with the media as the Alabama Crimson Tide. Practice number 1 in the books, the Auburn Tigers on the practice field as we speak, as they get ready to conclude their first practice. UAB, they've already had a couple under their belt down on the south side under the pavilion, which, man, that is such a great building that Bill Clark built because, man, can you imagine the difference between going a couple feet outside the pavilion and then practicing under the pavilion?
Makes a big, big difference. You've seen a lot of, or several, I say a lot, but several high schools and even other colleges that have taken that idea. Maybe it was done previously, but you see a lot more of that, and it's more affordable, and you still get what you need out of it. So, yeah, that's good. Wouldn't it be something if Sweet Frog, Rob Pate's frozen yogurt place, if they were contracted to go to Alabama? No ice cream outside of practice, frozen yogurt this year.
And I think Rob, being the good businessman that he is, he would absolutely take their money.
He would do it. Yep. Now, he would be wearing probably an Auburn lapel.
Sure. And that's fine.
But he would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get ice cream this year, do we?
Little
What about
upcharge?
music? Are we getting music this year?
I would think so.
I think everybody does music.
Yeah, I mean, the players
Except
like
for Nick
it.
Saban.
Yeah, I would think the music would be there. The ice cream stuff, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of that stuff is the same, honestly.
I would just have comments from like Thomas Castellanos, audio clips, Diego Pavia, others.
Just like mix those in with the music?
Yeah, mix in some play-by-play calls from last year, Oklahoma game, whatever. Throw that stuff in there and play it just continuously throughout practice.
It's interesting because we're getting texts on the courtesy GMC text line saying that people are already placing bets on Conrad taking out Bama Hater.
Yeah.
You feeling good about that?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, yes. The problem is we literally had this exact debate for about 7 or 8 minutes 2 weeks ago on a Friday.
Nobody remembers that.
And Bama Hater clearly forgets that we ever had that conversation. So
maybe
I'm happy to regurgitate all of the factual information I threw at him as he contradicted himself as he does every time he brings up Alabama. Sorry, that's a preview of what you're going to get next Tuesday.
It sounds like he's not. I don't think Conrad's taking this very seriously.
He's not.
I think he's going to come in very overconfident, like Alabama is against Florida State.
Yep. All of a sudden, he's going to look up in the fourth quarter.
Yep, and he's in a game.
He's in a game.
He's fighting for his life against Bama Hater.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what, are we going to do like a poll of all the people at Social Taco after the debate of who won? Or
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to give it to the people.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll call Rasmussen, the poll people. I'll get them to, they do the political polls.
I'll get the whatever the
Poly Market?
Poly Market.
Yeah.
Can someone be on the big board, like during election coverage and going into all the different counties and how the votes are coming in?
Different precincts?
Yeah, just keep an update throughout the debate.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah. We'll zero in on certain
I think Bama Hater will definitely win.
certain seating sections in the restaurant.
Yeah. Perfect.
He'll win Montgomery and Lee County. I can go ahead and predict that.
I better win Blount County. Otherwise, I'm doing something really wrong.
Blount County, Tuscaloosa County,
P-Town.
Jefferson County, and Shelby County. That'll be up in the
Those
air.
are the swing states. No doubt about it.
I think North Alabama, you're probably going towards Conrad. But the Black Belt and Southeast Alabama, that could be a problem.
Hey, I'm like Brett Yormark. I want to earn it on the field, right? I don't want anybody just to write in votes because of Alabama. I want to earn it on the field.
But
on
I'll
the
also
debate
tell
stage.
you that in the undercard, if Don knocks out Damian, if he absolutely gets a TKO on Damian, that does not bode well for Conrad. You agree with that?
Yeah. Yep. The older guys, the guys that are longer in the tooth.
Yeah. So if Don beats Damian,
that could kind of set the stage.
yeah, then that's a problem for Conrad.
Yep. It's all about that lead in. I feel like it's going to get nasty between Don and Damian.
I think Don and Damian, that's the one that people need to pay the most attention to be honest with you.
I think that Damian's going to be unnecessarily critical and harsh towards Don and he's going to get personal, and Don Don's going to get his feelings hurt.
He's in there shrugging his shoulders like he doesn't care.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. See, Don would not go personal with Damian. Don will keep it above board.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, when we come back on Three Man Front, we'll go to Tuscaloosa, and we will listen to Kalen DeBoer next here on Three Man Front. It is 11:44. Let's go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where Kalen DeBoer, they're in the Q&A session as practice number 1 is just wrapped up.
His trajectory is going up. Deontay, his leadership is the thing. I think that's really come out. So that's exciting. He is going to be limited, and just the number of reps, the volume, I guess the best way to put it, and what he can take as expected. And that was going to be the plan, just with his timeline from the beginning. But it's great having him out there. I think he feels really good about being out there, mentally and physically. I think he's in a really good spot. But there's still progress to be made as we build for the first game.
Staying on the Braves topic, can you talk about Jalen Hale's progress?
Yeah, just Jalen Hale and, where he was at a year ago with the injury actually in the spring in 2024. Just, pretty significant injury at the time. And, between he and then our medical staff just doing an awesome job of, pushing forward. Our whole team is proud of him, not just me. We've talked about that in the winter, during December. I remember addressing it with the team. Guys being excited about having him out there, finally doing something with the team. And then, the spring was the next step, and through the summer, and him out there. But there's reps that he hasn't taken, banked reps that other guys have, and so he's still learning as we go, and every rep he's going to get more and more confident, but he's certainly got a lot of tools, and want to see his growth. Excited about that this fall.
For the first day, is there a certain position group that maybe surprised you today?
Surprise! It's hard because we're literally in spider pads and helmets, and so from a physicality standpoint and things like that, there's limitations on what you can see and do, but I think
for those of you watching on Jox TV, Kalen DeBoer speaking after practice. We will effort to get that audio for our radio listeners wherever you may be listening, and we apologize for that. But Kalen DeBoer just kind of briefing the media, Pat, and giving some overall. He opened up with a comment about the health of one Deontay Lawson. Yeah,
Deontay Lawson, he's an individual that they're very happy to have back on the defensive. He's the general. And he's the one that's going to be, making the calls on the defense. And obviously, he was banged up, or he'd be in the NFL as he ended the season with the knee injury. But he is out there, and he is good to go. And that's how he started his opening remarks. And as Landrum just said, for those that were watching on YouTube, you were getting the audio feed. The feed that we were getting from Tuscaloosa was not in stereo. So if you're
we'll be able to convert that.
Yeah, so we will have sound of Kalen DeBoer coming up in the next 45 minutes. Meanwhile, your Atlanta Braves have just made a trade. They've gotten another pitcher.
Who did we trade?
I'm not sure who you traded to get this player.
Great.
But you have traded with the Colorado Rockies to get Tyler Kinley, a right-handed pitcher. Looks like the Braves gave up a prospect. I'm not really sure who the prospect is, but you got to finish the year. You got to have a pitcher. So Rockies' Tyler Kinley is heading to Atlanta to help with the pitching staff.
All right. So he looks like he is a reliever. He has appeared in 49 games this season. 1-3 record. He does have 3 saves with an earned run average of 5.66.
All right.
Exciting. That is great. Anything else we need to know about Tyler Kinley?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking on the wire, see if I see who the Braves actually gave up. But they did give up prospect. It was a little bit different than the Cardinals trade. And it was money involved with the Yankees, right, for Carrasco? Is that correct, Conrad?
It was money or a player to be named later.
Yeah, I think it was nothing but money. I believe the Cardinals actually threw some money back to Atlanta in the deal. So kind of a low-risk, potential high reward for the Braves if they get anything out of these guys for the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Brian Snick or any of those guys, I mean, you were firmly, there's no way that you were getting even in the playoff conversation. So at this point, you're playing out your schedule and hoping that maybe some guys can inflate their numbers down the stretch that you were looking to maybe get maximum trade value for at the end of the season. Other than that, any moves that they make, you just have to have guys out there that can field positions. We're 15 games under 500.
And you're about 30 hours away from the trade deadline, which is 5 o'clock tomorrow, Birmingham time.
Yeah. Tyler Kinley played his college ball at Barry University.
Okay.
The Barry Buccaneers. He was taken in the 16th round of the 2013 draft by the Marlins.
So he's got a little
wear on the tires.
Okay.
Yep.
So earlier this morning, Hugh Freeze, and we told you about a tweet that came out. I was monitoring the press conference earlier this morning. I did not hear it, but we saw a tweet, and we now have found the audio. This is what Hugh Freeze had to say what the most important thing is in the SEC.
You need length and girth in this league.
You got to have length. You got to have girth.
One more time.
He's not wrong.
Hugh Freeze
You
this
need
morning.
length and girth in this league.
Would you put passion over length and girth?
Well, passion only gets you so far. But if you have passion
Where there's a will,
and
there's a
length
way.
and girth,
Yeah,
I mean that's
undefeated.
Yeah, I mean that's going to get you.
If you got all three, that's the trifecta.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the three tools you need.
Yeah, that's what every guy's looking for in themselves.
Well, you can't teach passion. And the last time I checked, unless you are Kyler Murray, you can't get longer. Typically, I mean, some guys they get a little longer.
Can you get girthier?
You can definitely get girthier.
Yeah, that's the easiest one, I think.
Yeah, but you want it to be good girth, not bad girth.
Is there bad girth?
Yeah, bad girth, Pat, would be like going and eating Big Macs every day to get that girth.
Well, there's
as opposed to adding quality girth muscle.
You can have too much girth.
Depends on who you ask.
I guess the same goes for length. It's
When
more of a
Caden
personal
Proctor came to
preference.
Alabama out of high school, do you think he had too much girth?
He had to slim up a little bit.
The length was great, though.
Yeah.
Didn't need to. No changes needed there.
But as you mentioned, if you have the trifecta.
You got passion, you got length.
Have you had a
girth.
trifecta before?
I'm still working
Conrad?
on it. I'm still working on the passion part. Because like Landrum said, you can't teach that, so it's hard for some of us.
Yeah. It is.
One more time. This is Hugh Freeze from this morning.
You need length and girth in this league.
Well, any league.
Yeah.
But especially in this one.
Yeah.
You can get away, if you're in the ACC and maybe you have the length but not the girth, sometimes that can work.
And the Big 12, some of those teams, offensive line, that's where I'm thinking. You immediately think length, but a lot of times you don't see the girth.
That's right. But sometimes you don't see the girth initially.
Mm-mm. No, you're right. Are we talking about sneaky girth?
Yeah. Sometimes, some players grow into it.
Well, needless to say, those comments from Hugh Freeze, a lot of very creative people on the interwebs are having a really good time with it.
I thought it was an astute observation.
Length plus girth equals wins.
Needs to be a T-shirt.
Something tells me you might see a few of those on the plains this fall.
Or maybe the opposition to Auburn.
I think Auburn
Perhaps.
fans should lean into it.
Oh, absolutely. You got to embrace it.
Yeah, somebody needs to be making a T-shirt right now. Anders Bookstore, make that T-shirt.
Do you have your daily WNBA report ready for today?
Yeah, there was like a.
Does that have to do with length and girth?
Is that where the mouthpiece was on the floor? It was a mouthpiece, right?
I did not see. I just was asking if Landrum had his WNBA report ready for today.
Uh-oh. I'm just seeing the report now. Okay.
What do you think of the color?
You can't miss it. Does that thing glow in the dark?
Maybe so. Maybe so. It has that shade to it.
Please tell me that was the giveaway for fans.
In Atlanta? Hey, it wouldn't doubt it.
First
Atlanta,
200.
based on what we saw at SEC Media Days. Good gracious.
They were left over from the concert.
Is that a turkey baster?
So you do not have your WNBA report. That was my question.
I can.
Is that the worst thing you've seen or the best thing you've seen?
Mine is, I don't really have a comment on this, but I will put together a WNBA report.
Good. We need it. We'll go to Kansas City, Missouri next. We'll find out what's going on in the Big 12. It is 12 o'clock. Welcome back. It's three-man front on this. Yes, fall camp opened up at Alabama and Auburn this morning. We've already heard from Hugh Freeze. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer later this hour. And we're going to go to Kansas City, Missouri. Pete Mundo is going to join us from Heartland College Sports, get his thoughts on the upcoming college football season and the Big 12.
We'll celebrate the kickoff to college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox Kickoff Party at Regions Field on Thursday, August 21st. And the only way to go is by winning tickets. So to win a pair of tickets for you and a guest, text the keyword PARTY, that's PARTY, to 205-834-9450. So that's the keyword PARTY plus your full name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily. And for more information, visit joxfm.com.
Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline from Kansas City, Missouri, which I'm sure it's just like it is in Birmingham, Alabama today. Probably a balmy 70 degrees, no humidity, just a beautiful day in the heartland. Pete Mundo joins us now on Three-Man Front. Pete, did I get that right about 70 degrees, low humidity, just a beautiful day in KCMO?
Yeah, it's 70 degrees Celsius. Absolutely. It's a nice, cool day here. You're right about that.
We got the Braves and the Royals in about an hour from now going on in your neck of the woods. But we want to talk some college football. And one thing's for sure, last year Arizona State was the surprise team as no one had them winning the Big 12. Not only did they get the Big 12 championship, but they got to the college football playoff. And a lot of people believe this is the team in the Big 12 that you got to beat again this year. What do you say there at Heartland College Sports?
Well, I don't think that Arizona State can be the team to beat because I don't think anybody in the Big 12 can call themselves the team to beat. I mean, the league is just so wide open. It is so unpredictable. You've got 8 teams who are probably out there thinking that, hey, we can win the Big 12. So, yes, Arizona State won it last year. They were picked last. They finished first. They come within a 4th and 13 stop of beating Texas in that quarterfinal game. And they've got a lot of great pieces coming back, a lot of starters coming back. They may have a guy who could be, if things break right, a Heisman finalist in their quarterback, Sam Leavitt. But you lose Cam Scatteroo. He goes to the NFL, drafted by the Giants, and he's kind of your heart and soul. I got to see more. Kenny Dillingham did a great job. He's been a coach for 2 years now at his alma mater. So I don't think there's a team. And frankly, Arizona State, when we saw them at Media Days a couple of weeks ago, didn't act like a team that thinks it should be favored to win this league. They're kind of in that position of, yeah, last year was great, but we're focused on this year, and let's try to prove that last year was not a fluke. So can they win? Yes. Should they be an overwhelming favorite that gets a lot of attention? I don't think so because I don't believe that team exists right now.
Pete, what's your expectation for the Baylor Bears, the opponent of the Auburn Tigers, when we open things up on that Friday night in Waco?
Well, Baylor's a team that absolutely can win the league. They've got, I believe, the best quarterback-running back duo in the entire Big 12, and Sawyer Robertson and Bryson Washington. They started really slow last year. Dave Aranda nearly lost his job. And then they ripped off 6 straight wins in the second half of the season, and they were playing some of the best football in the Big 12. They can definitely win this conference. They've got to improve on defense. Ironically, that's, of course, supposed to be head coach Dave Aranda's strong suit. It hasn't been the last couple of years. They'll put up a lot of points. If the defense can improve just enough, they'll be in the mix to win the Big 12 this year. And that Auburn game on a Friday night in week 1 will go a long way to figuring out whether or not Baylor can be competitive. If they lose that game, I think it's a bad sign of things to come. If they win, then that will be that moment that Dave Aranda needs early in the season in non-conference play to be like, you know what? No, this team's going to win. They won the Big 12. Let's not forget just 4 years ago in 2021. That was a lot of Matt Rule guys and leftovers. This is obviously all Aranda guys. And he has leaned into the portal much more than he ever did. He was one of these coaches that really was resistant to the transfer portal, but now he's really all in on it. And I think Baylor's going to be in that mix for a Big 12 title. The first half of their season is very difficult schedule-wise, but if Auburn thinks they're going to walk over Baylor because, it's a Big 12 team, they're going to be potentially sorely mistaken.
Has anybody figured out what the heck Dave Aranda was talking about last week when he brings up the Wolf of Wall Street? Has anybody figured that out yet?
No, and it was so out of character, too, for Dave Aranda, because this is a guy who really never gives you a quote that's worth a damn. I mean, I've covered him for
not half a dozen, but close to that Big 12 media days. And he's just frankly a boring interview and a boring quote. So for Dave Aranda to be a guy who ends up in the headlines because of something he says in a Wolf of Wall Street quote, rant, whatever you want to call it, that was totally out of left field. That was totally out of character. And maybe that's a guy that's looser than he's ever been in that position as the head coach of Baylor, or maybe it was just a side of him that we typically haven't seen. But no, I don't think anyone's really figured it out, but it certainly gave him some publicity, good or bad, depending on how you look at it.
Speaking of head coaches in the Big 12, Pete, who would the face of the Big 12 be when it comes to head coaches now?
Well, I would say it's the guy who's the face of college football right now, and that's Deion Sanders. I mean, maybe we'll look back on the season and say it was Arch Manning at Texas, but you think about it, with so much player movement now in the transfer portal, I think the biggest stars at this point, and will continue to be, head coaches, because there isn't that continuity for the most part with a lot of these players. So with player movement happening more so than ever, the coaches are set to be the stars, and I think that Deion Sanders is not just the biggest star in the Big 12 right now, but I would argue he may be one of the faces, if not the face, of college football. And I don't know how close it is. I mean, yeah, maybe you look at Kirby Smart, who may make that case, but with Nick Saban gone, I don't know who else that would be. I don't think Sarkisian can be there yet. He can win a national title and get there, but just because of what Deion brings to the game, that is unlike what any other coach does when it comes to attention, when it comes to publicity. I mean, look at this week. He announces via a press conference that he had his bladder removed due to bladder cancer. A lot of coaches would have just put out a statement and say, I'm focused on football now. Deion knows how to kind of hype that stuff up. He does the press conference. It's very similar to, politicians in certain parts of our country that know how to play the game. Deion knows how to do it. He makes it big. And if Colorado can build on last season and compete like they did last year when they were in the hunt for a Big 12 title, Deion will continue to be, if not the biggest star, one of the biggest stars in the entire sport.
Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline from the wonderful city of Kansas City, Heartland College Sports, Pete Mundo joins us here talking some Big 12. We have been very impressed with the financial commitment that Texas Tech has thrown not only to their football program, but to the rest of their athletic department. Will that translate to wins this year based on what they have spent in the portal going to get themselves some of the top-notch talent for their football team?
Well, if it doesn't, Joe McGuire is going to lose his job or be in a really hot seat next season. I believe that it will. I think that Tech, just because of how wide open the Big 12 is, they would have to have a colossal failure of a season or major injuries at quarterback and other key positions to not be in the hunt. They loaded up in the transfer portal, as you noted. Their roster, per some reports, is upwards of $30 million. And, they bought some of the best players money can buy in the transfer portal. So Joe McGuire has to win. They beefed up on the offensive and defensive lines in particular, got some of the best portal players available there. They will have, just based on pure talent, the most talented roster in the Big 12, especially when it comes to the starting lineups on both sides of the ball. So there are huge expectations in Lubbock. Frankly, if they don't win the Big 12 title, there will be a large portion of that fan base that will view the season as a bust, fair or not. So I think they'll win. I think they'll be in the hunt. But in the Big 12, with the way the season's shaping up, I can't sit here and tell you, and I don't think anybody can, that this is going to be the year that they pop and win the whole thing. But based on talent alone, they should be able to. And if Joe McGuire doesn't get there going into year 5 as the head coach at Texas Tech, there will be major question marks as to whether or not he's the guy.
Hanging out with Pete Mundo, Heartland College Sports, joining us here on Three Man Front on the Higginbotham Hotline. We asked the question to our listeners, discuss it among ourselves, Pete, about coaches and hot seats. Who has the warmest seat heading into the season out of the Big 12?
Oh, it's got to be Brent Brennan at Arizona. He came in last year and he had retained a lot of his high-end talent. He brought back Noah Fafita at quarterback. He brought back T-Mac McMillan at wide receiver, who went top 10 in the NFL draft, and they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible last year, finished near the bottom of the Big 12, and got blown out in a lot of games. So, I don't want to say it was a controversial hire, but some people wondered whether or not he was the best guy for the job to replace Jed Fish, and then he bombs out in year one. Problem is he's got a massive, massive buyout, so he retained his job in year two. Some people wanted him out after year one, but the buyout was too much. So he stays. He comes back for year two. They got a new offensive coordinator in Seth Dagey, who was a quarterback one time at Texas Tech. And so far, it's the offseason. Everyone's talking a good game, but it sounds like Fafita, who's back at quarterback, feels good about the system he's going to be in with Seth Dagey and working with him. But if they don't get off to a good start, and if they have a season like last year, this year, then it will be very tough to see how Brent Brennan retains that job at Arizona, especially because of what's going on at Arizona State. If Arizona State stays at the top of the Big 12 and Arizona is looking like a bottom feeder, which a lot of people would have reversed 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Arizona State was bottom of the Pac-12 their last year in that conference, and Arizona was at the top of the league with Jed Fish. Jed goes to Washington. Kenny Dillingham turns around Arizona State in year two. Arizona brings in Brennan, finishes near the bottom of the Big 12, and suddenly the projections of both programs have essentially reversed. And that's going to put more pressure on Brennan as well.
Pete, final question. In regards to the college football playoff, there's a lot of bickering going on in the Power Four. You had Brett Yormark say he was going to double down. Jim Phillips, a little bit more of a politician in regards to where he stands with the CFP. Just wants everybody to sing Kumbaya and get all together. Meanwhile, Sankey likes the 5-11. Big Ten, they're hunkering down. They're planting their flag on that hillside in regards to the automatic qualifiers. When it's all said and done, and the people you talk to around the Big 12, where do you think we're going to end up?
Well, I think the Big 12 is going to stand on that 5-11, and I think that the ACC is joining them in that. And the main reason is this, and the Big 12 coaches and the ADs came to this conclusion with Brett Yormark. They can't agree to a 4-4-2-2 model because it admits inferiority. And you can't admit to being inferior to another conference, even if you are. No one's denying the SEC and the Big Ten are not better at the top than the Big 12 and the ACC. But the other thing is this in college football. Who's to say that Texas Tech doesn't become a year in, year out national contender because of how much money they're spending in NIL? And what if Coach Prime does something similar with Colorado and, you go on down the list from there? Houston is spending a lot in NIL. Baylor, TCU, they're all doing it as well. Does Oklahoma State bounce back to be a national contender? No matter what, you can't admit to being an inferior product with a 4-4-2-2 model. So I think the Big 12 is of the opinion, we'll roll the dice on 5+11. Let's prove it on the field. Even if we're not going to get as many out of the gates, we might be shorting ourselves in the short term, giving up 2 guaranteed spots and maybe only getting 1 for the next couple of years. But we've got to at least hold the line and say we want to take our chances with a 5-11 model, and ultimately I think that's going to win out. And the Big Ten seems to be holding on to the 4-4-2-2 model because for them, they're so top-heavy, they'd rather that 4-4-2-2 model. I understand it. The Big Ten's a very top-heavy conference, and there's a precipitous drop-off after those top 3, 4, 5 programs. So they're the ones who are seemingly hanging on to that. And I think ultimately 5-11 will win out because there's more conferences than not right now wanting to lean that way.
Great website. You need to go to Heartland College Sports. Nobody does it better covering the Big 12 than Heartland College Sports. Pete Mundo, always great to catch up. Stay cool there in KCMO, and hopefully we will catch up with you very soon as we get ready for football.
Anytime, guys. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Pete Mundo joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
When it comes to a great selection of Fords, your solution is our friends at Dobbs Ford. DobbsFordBirmingham.com on Parkway East in Birmingham. Joey and Rachel Goshen, husband and wife managing partners there. Their entire team, just salt-of-the-earth people. That's what I sell people on first. And you're not going to have to be sold once you meet them, but it's the way that you deserve to do business. You're going to be treated like a human being, and you've got people who genuinely care about you, whether you ever buy a car, truck, or SUV. But speaking of those, at Dobbs Ford, they got a great selection. It's Alabama's largest showroom selection. The SUVs, crossovers from Escapes, Bronco Sports, Broncos, Explorers, Expeditions like my little sister bought from Dobbs. How about the Maverick trucks, the Rangers, the F-150s, the Super Duties? You can go with the Dobbs edition there as well. Check it out. And right now you get Ford employee pricing on select makes and models, 90 days until your first payment. Can't beat it. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. That's the website. Check out the selection today. Get on down to Parkway East in Birmingham. Check it out. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Go and see and feel the difference at Dobbs Ford. We continue here on Three Man Front on this Wednesday. We'll check in. We're going to hear from Kalen DeBoer, what he had to say after the Alabama practice. Also more from Hugh Freeze as well. Three Man Front continues on Jox.
It is 12:19. Thanks to Pete Mundo joining us, talking some Big 12 football. Abide Roofing is the company you need to call, 205-922-7134. Go to their website, abideroof.com. Tailored roofing solutions for every need, whether it's your family home or it's a commercial building. Abide Roofing delivers custom solutions that match your specific needs and style. It's a team that brings their A game. Abide's crew is highly skilled pros. They work with precision and pride, delivering top-notch results on every job. It's always safety first, always. Using the latest tools and following the highest safety standards, they keep everyone and everything protected from start to finish. Built to last, there's no compromises. Only the best materials make it onto your roof. Guaranteed durability, weather resistance, and lasting value. Over 25 plus years of experience, the local roofing team of Travis Lloyd is just outstanding. They replaced the entire roof on top of my home. I can tell you with 100% accuracy and certainty that they can take care of you, and you will be as happy as I have been. Solid advice throughout the whole process. They'll deal with your insurance company. Call Abide Roofing today. That number, 205-922-7134, or go to their website, abideroof.com.
Really interesting comments from Pete Mundo breaking down the Big 12. Not really surprised what he had to say about the Big 12 being open. That's the way we view it. Last year is a great example. You had Arizona State, who nobody saw coming, and you saw what they did. Interesting that Ralph Russo kind of threw out Cincinnati, but that's the appeal to me as a college football fan, Pat, of watching the Big 12 week in, week out, is you don't have that 3 or 4 teams. And it was like that when you had Oklahoma and Texas in the league. But top to bottom, and for whatever this means, I think that it's a really fun product to watch week in, week out. We're not even talking about Houston and Willie Fritz in year 2. What does that look like? Scott Frost at UCF. What are the expectations there? And then you have your Iowa States, right? It's not a whole lot of fun to talk about Iowa State every year, but they seem to be in the conversation most years. And oh, by the way, they're returning 14 starters, which a lot of teams can't say.
Well, it's interesting because, Pete obviously brought up Arizona State, Texas Tech, and Baylor, basically saying that Auburn folks better be paying attention to this Baylor football program because if you go in there and you take them lightly, they very well could beat you.
No disrespect to Pete, but I think Auburn fans, after watching the last 2 years under Hugh Freeze,
they don't take anybody for granted.
No, I don't think that will happen.
But, you heard earlier in the program, if you missed it, download the 3-Man Front podcast. We had Ralph Russo on the program, and he actually brought up Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Now, we had Brett Ciencia on the show on Monday, and he's got Cincinnati picked 9th in the, pick 6 previews. But you had Ralph Russo earlier saying that, if you squint, he might see Cincinnati as one of those potential teams in the Big 12 that could put themselves in a position like Arizona State did last year.
It's possible. A lot of interesting storylines. Cincinnati opening up with Molly's Cornhuskers.
Is that at home in Lincoln? No, that's in Kansas
Arrowhead.
City. That's in Kansas City. Yeah.
Bowling Green week 2, Northwestern State week 3, at Kansas, hosting Iowa State. Let's see who else you got here. You get UCF at home, Oklahoma State on the road, Baylor at home, Utah on the road, Arizona at home, BYU at home. Tell you what, they got to – I think squint is a great way to put it because let's just say you lose a Nebraska game. I could see Cincinnati – with the way that their schedule sets up, going 9-3, 10-2.
Yeah. Pick 6 previews. He's got Arizona State winning the league, but he's got Texas Tech and Baylor tied at number 2. Utah at 4, TCU and Kansas State tied for 5th. Iowa State 7, BYU 8. Then Colorado and Cincinnati tied at 9. Houston 11, Kansas 12, Oklahoma State 13. You just wonder if Oklahoma State finishes 13 after going winless last year, do they continue to put up with Gundy?
I think they do.
Then you got Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia at 14, tied with Scott Frost at Central Florida. And then you've got Arizona coming in at 16. So
I'm looking at Gundy's contract, but I cannot see them pulling the – I mean, he has – for the most part, he's been really consistent, and it hasn't been consistently bad. I just think that's a big gamble going with, or if they're just, or is it a thing where Gundy's like, you know what, I'm tired of doing this. I'm going to sit out for a year and weigh my options. But can you see Mike Gundy getting a whole lot of phone calls from other Power 4 schools?
That would be no.
Not from his coaching ability, just everything else. The whole ball of wax that you get with him with his personality, which I love his personality. It's great for guys like us.
No, his personality is fantastic. He's a sports talk show's dream.
Yeah, he's
tried multiple times to leave. Had his agent when the Florida job came open and they hired Billy Napier. I mean, he openly asked for that job.
He's got a revised contract. It includes a reduced salary and buyout, as well as provisions that require him to be more involved in fundraising and possibly his own succession plan. How you like that?
I did not know that was put in his contract.
Yep.
Okay.
So
good for him.
He gets a say in who follows him up. That tells me that Mike Gundy's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I think you're right. Hugh Freeze met with the media earlier this morning, and he told us all what the word that they're using the most around fall camp for Auburn.
It's kind of the word that I go away, as most of you know, and spend a little time in this cabin in the mountains that I've done for a long time, and just I think through, all right, what am I going to teach this year? What are the themes each week? What is the overriding word? That's the word I came up with, and I think everybody's kind of following that lead, and we are expectant. We're expecting of being a really good football team that competes in every single game and has a chance to win every game, and hopefully we're better in those critical moments, and we flip some of those close losses into wins, and we're expecting of that, and hopefully our kids are following that. And I'm teaching a proverb a day: keep stupid away during camp, and hopefully that impacts all of us also in life and in football. But the overriding theme is expectant, so I'm glad the kids are listening and they feel the same.
The biggest story of the morning came as the very first statement he made to the media was about the availability of Malcolm Simmons.
Based on the information that I've been given from our campus administration, who have knowledge of the matter, he's been cleared to participate in team activities.
Hugh, JoeGoodmanAL.com. Who exactly cleared Malcolm to practice with the team, and did they talk with Malcolm's girlfriend?
Like I said earlier, based on the information I've been given from the administration, he's cleared to practice, and that's all the information I have.
Malcolm Simmons was arrested in Lee County on July the 16th on domestic assault charges with strangulation or suffocation. His preliminary hearing is now set for August the 8th. So right around the corner.
Well, we've sat on all of these texts, not in response to what we just heard from Hugh Freeze, but something else that he said that we played a little bit earlier. If you're riding around, maybe returning from lunch or heading out to lunch, Hugh Freeze being very candid today, meeting with the media as much as he can, seems to be upbeat. I don't think he probably thought twice about saying this, but listeners and other people around the league certainly taking notice. Here it is.
You need length and girth in this league.
One more time.
You need length and girth in this league.
Yep. I think On3 should put that on their graphic when we go to the transfer portal. Length
and
girth and NIL valuation.
Yes, all three.
Those are the three things you're looking for when you're building out a roster.
We will continue on with three-man front. We will hear from Kalen DeBoer as we are gathering sound as we speak. He's got an update on the quarterback situation in the quarterback room in Tuscaloosa and what he saw practice number 1 in T-Town. And we'll finally get to your text messages. So many of you have chimed in on the Courtesy GMC text line. We will get to those next on Three-Man Front. We're under a heat advisory once again in the Deep South. Please be careful out there. Supposedly some cooler weather coming this weekend. That will be a welcome relief. No doubt about it. The summer sales event, it is currently ongoing there at Courtesy GMC in Trussville, whether it's a Sierra Denali Ultimate or how about an AT4X? You want to get an Acadia, an AT4 on that variety. How about a Yukon XL, Yukon XL Denali? You've got the Canyon trucks, the Sierra trucks, all of that there at Courtesy GMC. They will not be beat. They are the dealership that you want to go to in regards to saving the most money. They will not be undersold when it comes to what's happening with the new lineup at Courtesy GMC in Trussville. The 2026s are starting to make its way onto the dealership floor. And, of course, they've got 9 acres of inventory, including the pre-owned vehicles. Go by and see them right off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville, or visit their website at courtesybirmingham.com.
Jox text line is open, 205-834-9450. A lot of reaction to what Hugh Freeze said earlier, one particular comment that we played, but overall, a lot of your responses coming in. And this one from Jake says, disgusting that Auburn is letting Malcolm Simmons participate. I would answer that by saying, without knowing the facts, you know what he's charged with, the legal implications, and I'm not talking about Malcolm Simmons but contractually, NIL, I'm going to trust the legal team at Auburn and their administration and until we hear otherwise. But he still has a court date.
Yeah, and that's coming up. So he'll have his day in court. That is set for August the 8th.
This one reads, I'm a big-time Auburn fan, but the more I listen to Hugh Freeze talk, I don't understand how he can motivate anybody to do a darn thing, especially put on pads and hit somebody. Yeah, it's not going to, you're not going to compare that to maybe a Mike Gundy. We were just talking about him, a super fiery guy. It's just not his deal. Doesn't mean that they can't win, but yeah, he's not one of the more exciting to listen to. And for the record, Kalen Moore really isn't either. Just saying their delivery. This one coming in, and Eric says Hugh knows best length and girth. And a company cell phone. There it is. Hastings chiming in. Is you talking about the SEC or the sequel to The Hills? I thought filthy was saved for Fridays. Well, we're not trying to make it filthy.
No, we're
just
reporting
reporting what he said.
Yeah, we're just playing the audio of what the current head football coach at Auburn University said.
Sickos like you, Hastings.
Where was Hastings yesterday?
I don't know. Can't read that one. I mean, there's a way to dance around it, and there's a way to just to put it. Yeah, you can't.
Is someone very blunt about Hugh Freeze?
Yeah, they just. Yeah. BB weighing in. Hugh Freeze sounded like Bill B. Belichick, I'm guessing, with that length and girth comment.
I thought she was going to say Bill Clinton.
She follows by saying, ask a woman, you'll get the real all caps answer.
Oh, by the way, Molly, did you have the BB? Did you have the cupcake or the lava cake last night?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Did you have both or just one? Which one did you have? Which one did you have, the lava cake or the cupcake?
I just had the lava cake.
You didn't?
No, I did.
Oh, you did? That's the one I ate, and it was fantastic.
It was amazing.
BB,
yes, thank you, BB.
It was great. It was fantastic. Thank you so much.
My wife had the cupcake. She said it was outstanding. Don says, hey guys, tell Damien I'm in. We did not cuss each other out. Pat is exaggerating about that.
No, there was profanity used. It was not coming from Don.
No, there was
Damien.
because I heard it too.
It was Damien.
You're not exaggerating.
Yeah.
I will have research to prove all of my points. By the way, my friend Bama Hater will destroy Conrad. Okay. All right. Got the debate
love it.
coming up next Tuesday.
Yeah.
From Social Taco.
Please be there. Need to come early. Get you a good seat.
Pelham Gator chimes in. He says Don can also get nasty. I've seen him in action. Damian better watch out if he gets mad.
Ooh.
You've known Don for a while. You ever seen him get nasty?
I've seen him get fired up, but not nasty.
Bama Hater has now chimed in. He says Conrad is in more trouble than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest.
There you go.
There it is.
The smack talk has begun.
And Michael says Conrad is going to debate a person on college football. That said, on this very program, okay. I'm going to stop it there. Keep the text rolling in. A lot of you have chimed in. I just can't read them on the air and not get reprimanded. 205-834-9450.
Well, if I can be direct, Diamonds Direct really lives up to their name. There's no middleman, there's no runaround, just incredible diamonds straight from the source. And the price, way more reasonable than I expected. You get exactly what you want, and you don't have to empty your savings to do it. When you first walk into the store, you feel like a VIP, and when I went, they actually treated me like I mattered. It's not just a transaction for them, it's a full experience. And right now, there's a pretty amazing deal where if you buy the engagement ring, you get the wedding band for free. I'm serious, that's a free wedding band, so lucky you if you're thinking about getting engaged. So the bottom line, Diamonds Direct is direct with no extra layers, no nonsense, just quality diamonds at a price that you can actually feel good about. So if you're in the Birmingham area, go check them out in the Cahaba Village.
When we come back on Three Man Front, Vegas has spoken. We like to follow these trends and what they like, what they don't like. And it's pretty amazing when you look at all the teams in college football that potentially could be favored in every single regular season game. It's only a handful. We'll go over that list next on Three Man Front. 12:43. Welcome back in. It's three-man front here on Jox. Pat, Molly, Conrad, Landrum with you until 2 o'clock. Well, here's some Kalen DeBoer coming up at the top of the hour. We'll get his thoughts on what is going on with Alabama as practice number 1 is in the books. He gives an update on the quarterback battle and the new offensive coordinator at Alabama.
Well, this fall, you need to go and check out Big Whiskey's because they are the place for great food of all varieties with the full menu ranging from apps, salads, burgers to steaks. Their bar is amazing. It features unique cocktails, over 120 whiskeys, including whiskey on tap, and plenty of screens to catch all the games all weekend long. They also offer different food and drink specials. For each day of the week, they have happy hour, and the kitchen is open late every night. So go check them out this football season in the Same Trace Village off Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
Okay, so Vegas has listed only 5 teams in college football as of this moment that would be favored in every single regular season game. Only 5. Would you like to take a guess on who those 5 teams would potentially be?
Ohio State. Oh, golly.
Every single regular season game as of this moment.
With all the hype they've been getting, I'm going to say Penn State.
Okay. So we'll go with those 2.
But
so
I
we'll
can't
see
go
how
with those 2 because they play each other, right?
They do.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
They do.
And then I was gonna throw out Texas, but I can't do that because they play Ohio State.
I'm going to go Georgia because they get favorable games at home.
Arizona State.
Clemson.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yep. Notre Dame. So Notre Dame, Ohio State, Arizona State, Clemson. I would say Georgia.
The 5 schools, according to Las Vegas, right now, that is projected to be favored in every
Illinois. Got Illinois.
2025 regular season game is Arizona State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
All right.
So
Boom.
Y'all did very well.
5 for 5.
Now we're going to put it up a notch. There's 8 schools.
Not favored in any games?
No, there's 8 schools that are projected to be favorites in all but one game.
Nebraska.
Incorrect.
Penn State.
Try again.
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
Oregon.
Texas. Ole Miss.
People are yelling at their radios right now. The projected favorites in 11 of their 12 regular season games. There's 8 of them.
I feel really good about Alabama, Texas, Oregon, and Penn State.
I will tell you Texas is not one of them.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech is not one of them.
Louisville.
Louisville's not one of them.
Miami.
Miami of Ohio or Florida?
Both.
Toledo.
Miami of Florida is one of them.
Wow,
Toledo.
Okay.
Toledo is one of them. Very good.
Oh, Boise.
Boise is one of them. One of you mentioned Penn State. I'll give you Penn State. And
Yeah.
Oregon was one y'all mentioned. You mentioned Alabama. Yes.
So
But
we've
you're
got 6.
missing. Yeah, you're missing 2.
Memphis.
No.
Are there any G6 teams left?
Yes.
Tulane.
No.
James Madison.
James Madison is one of them. There's one left.
Navy.
No. So far, you've got Alabama, Boise State, James Madison, Miami, Oregon, Penn State, and Toledo. Those are teams, according to Vegas, will be favored in all but one game, and you're missing one.
Illinois.
It is not Illinois.
Washington State.
It is not Washington State.
Oregon State.
It is not Oregon State.
Kansas State.
It is not Kansas State.
Is it a Big 12 team?
It is not a Big 12 team.
Is it a Big 10 team?
It is not a Big 10 team.
Is it an ACC team?
It is not an ACC team.
Does it come from the Sun Belt?
It does not.
The American?
It does not.
No, it can't be LSU.
Mountain West?
It is not from the Mountain West.
UNLV.
It is not UNLV.
Man. I feel pretty proud that we were able to get through 7.
That was very good. You guys did very well. You nailed the top 5 teams, according to Vegas, that will not be.
What other conference are we missing here?
Oh, Sacramento State.
Sacramento State is not an FBS school.
Come on,
by the way,
Conrad.
They should be.
They should be, but they're not. Do you guys give up?
Yes.
Do you think people are yelling at their radios right now as they're driving around in this
Probably.
127 degree
Is
heat?
it another group of 6 team?
Yeah.
It's another group of 6 team.
Yeah.
Is it in the
Is
MAC
it from the MAC?
It is not from the MAC.
Oh.
You guessed Memphis, right? Somebody said
He said it's not from the American.
Nope.
And it's not from the Sun Belt.
Nope.
Not from the MAC.
Nope.
And not from the Mountain West.
So I was saying we already got Toledo.
Is it an independent?
No. Well, this one's really got you. This should have been a Ponders question. You got Alabama, Boise State, James Madison, Miami, Oregon, Penn State, Toledo. The team that you are missing is from Conference USA Liberty.
Oh, duh.
We should have gotten that one. You're
Yeah.
right.
I'm really, really surprised that you guys did not get that one.
I should have gone. Is it a faith-based university? Liberty.
Do they have a ski lodge on campus? That would have been a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't ask me that question.
Is every building paid for on their campus?
We didn't.
So isn't that pretty amazing? So you've got 13 schools, according to Las Vegas, right now, that would be favored in at least 11 of their 12 regular season games.
Interesting.
Does that number surprise you? Think it should be less,
No.
more?
To be honest, I never really thought about it, so it doesn't surprise me. Because then it becomes painstaking when it's like I was doing the first thing that you mentioned and thinking, all right, well, Texas and Ohio State, wait a minute, they play each other, so that can't be the case.
So I'm curious, and I don't have it in front of me. I just have the list of the schools. So like Texas would obviously not be favored in 11. I understand that they would not be favored at Georgia.
And Ohio State.
Or Ohio State. Yeah, that's right.
See, and that's where I thought like LSU, they're probably not favored at Alabama and Clemson. But I bet they're favored in 10 games.
Right.
Yeah.
Clemson right now is a 4-point favorite over LSU. Ohio State a 2.5-point favorite.
But what's the point spread right now? I can look it up.
For who?
Of LSU and Ole Miss. At Ole Miss.
LSU at Ole Miss. Yeah, you're gonna have to look further down the line. Wait, maybe not. LSU at Ole Miss. LSU is a 1-point favorite.
Okay.
Penn State a 6.5-point favorite over Oregon. By the way, that's how I'm going to pronounce it now.
Oregon.
Oregon. Oh, USC and Michigan a pick 'em right now. Save that one, October 11th. Texas right now is a 10.5-point favorite over Oklahoma. And Alabama, Conrad, almost a 2-touchdown favorite. Alabama is as much a favorite over Tennessee at home as they are on the road at Florida State right now. 12.5.
Well, Bryant Denny still hasn't been kind to the Volunteers, so.
And October 18th, another SEC matchup, returning the favor. What happened last year? Georgia is a 14-point favorite at home over Ole Miss.
Wow, that's a lot. Today, the 3-man front Twitter poll question of the day, speaking of Alabama and Tennessee, we asked the audience, in a hypothetical future schedule model, should the Alabama-Tennessee series be replaced with Alabama-Georgia? And this is one of the most lopsided polls we have ever had. 87% of the audience said no, do not change it. Leave Alabama, Tennessee, if that's your option of going to Alabama, Georgia. 87.4% said no, yes, 12.6%.
It's tradition. People don't like when you mess with their rivalries. And now I would be interested if you asked this question 5 years ago, would it still be that lopsided? Because
True.
now it's become a competitive rivalry again, right? Whereas for a decade and a half,
I don't know. I think a lot of people probably would say, well, you know what? We like beating the crap out of them every year.
Well, I was about to say, some people would say, do we want to play Georgia guaranteed every year?
Yeah.
I mean,
this is one of the more lopsided ones we have had.
Auburn fans would answer that question for you.
Oh, yeah, they'd probably love to see Alabama and Georgia every year. Take each other out.
We'll get it this year. That'll be fun.
You could tell Mike Griffith the other day, he keeps bringing up that Auburn-Georgia game.
Yeah.
He's concerned about that one.
I think Mike's pretty high on Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
All that length and girth.
Nathan King predicted 8-4 for Auburn.
Yeah, it felt solid about 8-4. Could be better than that.
Could be worse. Depends on the length and girth.
And someone throwing out, on top of that passion, and you can't be.
Can't be soft as a football team.
Nope.
I'll come up and bite you.
That shouldn't be an issue.
Got to get up every morning, carry yourself with passion and pride.
You're getting paid a lot of money to go out there, perform. We expect it.
Sometimes you have trouble performing, though.
You do?
No, I'm just saying people.
Oh.
Players.
Well, you gotta be ready. Whether you're coming off the bench or you're a starter, you gotta be ready.
Mental.
Coming up next hour on the program, we'll hear from Kalen DeBoer as Alabama practice number 1 in the books. We'll hear from the Alabama second-year head coach, what he had to say about his football team after day 1 in Tuscaloosa. We'll do some Pat Ponders. All that straight ahead, hour number 4 here on Three Man Front.
1 o'clock here on 3-Man Front on this Wednesday. Landrum, Pat, Conrad, and Molly. Glad that you're with us. Auburn, Alabama, hitting the practice field for the first time in fall camp. Auburn, earlier, we have played you comments from Hugh Freeze, what he thinks about not only fall camp, heading into fall camp, but comparing this particular fall camp to the last two. And Conrad, I think that you would agree as a biased, whatever. You're objective. But what you've heard from Hugh Freeze, the previous two fall camps, it does sound like a different tone and tenor. It sounded like that in the spring, but that has continued. It sounds like he really likes his football team.
Yeah, I think he's very proud of, not only the roster growth that they've had with, finally having, I guess what you would say, a roster that from top to bottom from a depth standpoint could compete with anybody in the SEC, and you throw in the new quarterback situation. And I said this earlier, and I think it holds true, and you agreed with me. But what does it do for a guy like Hugh Freeze when you're in year 3 now and you can look at your quarterback room and go, man, my third string guy, worst case scenario this year might be better than my best case scenario the last couple of seasons. And that goes a long way for a guy like him.
So this is the litmus test. We have listeners on the text line, and they'll text. And this particular listener, big Bama fan, I'm guessing, from the state of Florida, that we have this debate, and I've never even shared this on the air. And one day he said, by far, Alabama's total talent in their quarterback room, it wasn't talent. Just they have a better quarterback room as a whole than Auburn does this season. I disagree. Not saying potential, but Ashton Daniels.
Well, in terms of with Auburn, you kind of know a little bit more of what you would get with those guys.
Right. And there's the unknown of the Austin Mack.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the ceiling for Alabama's quarterback room is higher. But I do think, if you're just basing it on what you would get right now if you had to play a football game, I think you could make a very strong case.
Would you say it's higher, though?
The ceiling?
What is the ceiling for a Ty Simpson? You think Ty Simpson, we're talking about him in New York, Heisman Trophy?
I think there's the potential. I would not put money on that, but do I think there's the potential for that? Yes. But I guess you could say the same thing about Jackson Arnold as a former 5-star quarterback. I'm going based off, and we've heard really good things about a lot of them. I think you have 3 guys at Alabama that could be starters or have opportunities at a lot of other schools. I think Ashton Daniels is a really good third-string safety net kind of guy. I think Ashton Daniels is significantly worse than the other 5 guys that we're talking about in that conversation, though, in my opinion.
Okay.
And that's where I would say Alabama maybe a little higher ceiling-wise, but Auburn maybe a little more game ready right now.
Because then you have the Deuce Knight, and if you were going to compare, and you say Keelan Russell is better than Deuce Knight, whatever.
Hairs, yeah.
But you got 5-star talents that we haven't seen them at the college level yet. Austin Mack, another talent, but.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I'm going. I would roll the dice on an Austin Mack before I took what I had in Ashton Daniels, for me personally.
But the fact that we're having to talk it out, I think that's good news for Hugh Freeze and Auburn in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Because the last 2 years, it was, whoa.
It is, it's really not even comparable, I feel like. It is that big of a difference. And that's what they needed.
All right, speaking of quarterbacks, Kalen DeBoer met with the media. Alabama practiced at 9 o'clock this morning, got wrapped up sometime between 11:15 and 11:30. Kalen DeBoer met with the media inside the indoor practice facility. This is what he had to say about assessing the quarterbacks after day one.
I think they've all taken steps through the summer, and you can see they are definitely more comfortable with the install. A lot of it's the reps they get with the play concepts they have, but the footwork and just the confidence with that. And, some of the new things that we've added in. So Ty and Austin, those things are still new this spring. And, they've now become very comfortable with, it's subtle stuff, but, probably Keelan's going to be the one that, you're going to see the biggest jump naturally, and I feel like that was good. He's making quick decisions and not sitting there thinking too much. But I felt all of them did. I think Ty, we talked about all the quarterbacks, but just the gimme, the ones that are just should be 100% making those plays all the time, and I really felt like he did that. He got probably more opportunities just because of the way the plays developed to have more of those gimmies, and those gimmies add up. Gimmies are 5-yard gains that turn into 15 and 20 and sometimes explosives, and they keep the chains moving. So I like the mindset of our quarterbacks, because when you can trust your quarterback to go through his progression and be okay with checking it down and not forcing something, you can call, as a play caller, a lot more balls down the field and know that it's not just going to be an incomplete pass or an explosive play. There's going to be a progression, and it's going to be some type of movement down the field. It's going to put you in manageable down at distances, whether it's second, third, or fourth.
All right, so speaking of the quarterbacks, what about having one of those veteran defenses that so many people are relying on this Alabama team this year? Does that make a difference in regards to the quarterback competition going up against a top-notch defense?
Yeah, a lot of the competition right now is a lot of pressure on them. There's pressure to play in games and the quarterback pressure that exists, going through the season. But really, the pressure that they have to compete and win the spot is something that's preparing them for those times in the games. And so going against a defense like ours, and our defense does a really good job. I think they're getting better and better at disguising things, which means you don't know where things might always come from. And then, guys just that are playmakers out there too. They can cover a lot of ground, and they're not just giving you those gimmies, those blown coverages. You're having to make plays, and so quarterbacks did a good job of, I think, taking calculated risks at the right time. They didn't put our offense in jeopardy really, throughout practice, and they're being challenged by obviously a group on the other side of the ball that we've got a lot of confidence in right now.
Speaking of the defense, one of the leaders on the defensive side of the ball should be in the NFL right now, but unfortunately he had an injury last year, so he's coming back for another year at Alabama, and that's Deontay Lawson. This is Kalen DeBoer on the health in the first practice for Deontay Lawson.
Yeah, his trajectory is going up. Deontay, his leadership is the thing I think that's really come out. So that's exciting. He is going to be limited, and just the number of reps, the volume, I guess the best way to put it, and what he can take as expected. And that was going to be the plan, just with his timeline from the beginning. But it's great having him out there. I think he feels really good about being out there, mentally and physically. I think he's in a really good spot. But there's still progress to be made as we build for the first game.
Alabama was decimated back in the spring. Their tight end room had injury after injury. And so Kalen DeBoer gives us an update of the tight end room.
It will continue to get better and better. It's in a good spot. This was going to be how it was when the injuries happened. Cuevas is going to continue to add volume. I think that's the best word to use, because he's practicing. Danny Lewis, the same thing. They're adding volume. The number of reps from start to finish. It's not just team. It's not just individual. But they've had a really good summer, and their progress is as we had hoped, as we expected. And the rest of the guys, Marshall, I know didn't practice at the end of the spring with what he had. A couple other guys too. They're all full go. We got more tight ends out there now all of a sudden than we could have ever imagined. But they all competing and working together, doing a good job.
Travis Hunter last year, he won the Heisman Trophy at Colorado because he played both ways. Does Kalen DeBoer, does he want a two-way player like that at Alabama?
I mean, when you have someone that can really fit into a goal line package and be the extra tight end, and maybe take a defensive end or a defensive lineman and add him to a personnel grouping, we'll certainly be open to that. Or if there's a specific guy that has just a skill that we don't have. But I think for the most part, each side of the ball has what they need. If they wanted to do something special, we have that on that side of the ball, and there isn't someone that is so much better going both ways like that situation to where we feel the need to do that at this point.
And finally, Kalen DeBoer talks about the offensive line. Many people around college football believe that's going to be one of their strengths this year, is the offensive line. He talks about the competition between Cam Dewberry and Geno Vandemark.
Yeah, both of them doing a great job all summer, super competitive. Gino, in year 2 now with us, so comfortable in the offense. And Cam has just he's had a lot of urgency to really put himself physically and mentally in a spot where he's competing for that position. And they probably do have different tools that are their strengths. I think they're both really good, well-rounded football players. But both of them can do a few things a little better than the other. So it's just a matter of the best 5 guys, and how they fit into that.
So Vandermark, he was transferred last year from Michigan State, and he got first-team reps today down in Tuscaloosa. So there's Kalen DeBoer, and it's safe to say that both listening to him and Hugh Freeze this morning, Landrum, in just my opinion, it seems like both guys are really comfortable. They really like what they have this year as they get ready to go to battle as fall camp opens up.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze, obviously with more weapons and that depth piece at his disposal. For Kalen DeBoer, the defense, and we saw as the year progressed last year, at times defense was really not the issue. But for Kalen DeBoer, I have Ryan Grubb back. And I know people have talked about it, but just what that could mean, not only from play calling, just from a comfort level, and Kalen DeBoer knowing that Ryan Grubb's got that. Not that he had to babysit Nick Sheridan last year, but it's different, and there's a reason why he chose Ryan Grubb as his offensive coordinator when he took the job in Tuscaloosa. Ryan Grubb obviously took the Seahawks OC job for one season. But, yeah, both coaches sounding very confident, and they should be. They're expected to be, well, at least one, competing for another college football playoff berth. And then for Hugh Freeze, he's got a team that's actually in the discussion.
Well, celebrate the kickoff to college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox Kickoff Party at Regions Field on Thursday, August 21st. And the only way to go is by winning tickets. So to win a pair of tickets for you and a guest, text the keyword PARTY to 205-834-9450. That's keyword PARTY plus your full name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily. For more information, visit joxfm.com.
All right, so what's going on down in Gainesville, Florida? We told you yesterday that DJ Lagway, he was going to be absent as fall camp began. We will hear from Billy Napier on his star quarterback, what that means for Florida, next on 3-Man Front. It is 1:16. Welcome back to Three Man Front. What's next for the Florida Gators? We'll get into that next about DJ Lagway. But termite control and extermination, mosquitoes, those common house pests, animal removal and control. Since 1977, Alabama Professional Services, they have helped the homeowners solve the most challenging insect, pest, and rodent problems. From targeted pest control for termites, rodents, and more, to prevention and protection, APS can help you. They proudly serve Birmingham, Huntsville, and Montgomery, all across the great state of Alabama. Schedule a free estimate today, 205-951-9717, or go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. DJ Lagway, what is up with him? Rumors started abound over the weekend that he was in a walking boot, that he was having some problems, some issues with a lower leg injury. Come to find out, it was a calf muscle. This is what his head coach, Billy Napier, told the media yesterday at Gator Media Day.
I mean, again, he's day-to-day. The good thing is that I think we're about a week removed, so in general, he's made a lot of quick progress, but it will be something that we're monitoring, and hopefully as we go, his ability to participate in practice will be a little bit more each opportunity that we get going forward.
So let me ask you guys this. So Florida is picked preseason in the SEC media poll as 6th. Now that Lagway is dinged up, don't really know when he's going to be available, does that change your opinion one way or another on this Florida offense and what they potentially could be by the end of the year?
For me, it does. DJ Lagway, he means 2 or 3 more wins for Florida if we're just going 6-6 baseline. Dinged up, just depends on the severity. If he's out, that would drastically change where I would have them in my predicted order of finish. He's that good.
Because, I mean, if they finish 6th, that equates to what historically?
9-3?
9 wins in the conference?
Yeah, you go 9-3.
Yeah.
Depends on the year. 8-4, maybe.
So I'd say last year would have been 9-3.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a 6-6 football team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you go high end, 9-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know who their backup is, by chance? It is Harrison Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
Who is entering his 6th year of college football.
That's a kid. Did he play at Georgia Tech?
He played at Tennessee.
And Tennessee, I knew.
UNLV and Louisville.
Okay, so
he made a stop at Georgia Tech, but I know he played at those 3 for sure. I'll be completely honest with you. My expectations with Florida this year are like 90% DJ Lagway. So if he's not available or he's going to play in 8 games this year, something along those lines, then yeah, that pretty much tanks my expectations for them. I think if he's healthy the whole season, yeah, I could see them going 8-9 wins, something like that. But without him, it's going to be rough for Billy.
This thing cannot linger.
No.
I mean, now, well, let me say this. They play Long Island first game. So I guess technically it could linger a little bit.
USF week 2 is no joke.
No, it's not. But he needs to be out there.
Well, and the thing that, again, if he didn't have the shoulder injury in the spring where he couldn't throw a football and he missed all of that time, I wouldn't be as concerned about this. But what if you have a quarterback who looked great at times last year when he was healthy, but he misses all of spring, all of fall camp. He's not able to work on that chemistry, just getting on the field and throwing with these guys. I mean, that's a problem. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are. You need that. You need those reps. You need that time.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So that was Sunbelt Billy giving us the very latest on DJ Lagway.
Harrison Bailey, by the way, never at Georgia Tech, but there's always an opportunity if he comes back for his 7th season. Tennessee, UNLV, Louisville, and now Florida.
I don't know. Have you guys seen that the recent trend is that all those dudes are now getting denied? Like the courts are not giving them the extra year of eligibility.
Man, Diego Pavia's got pictures of somebody then.
We got in early.
Yeah,
we got that done early.
And don't forget that we kind of had a change at the
yeah, that's true.
In Washington, D.C.
That is true.
Will you detail that?
Donald Trump got 80+ million votes and is the president of the United States. And there is now a different political party that's in control of our country. And naming of judges and things of that nature. So, yeah, been a little bit of a change.
Spoiler alert. Interest rates have not been changed today.
Yes.
Oh, is that supposed to happen today?
No.
You got to give it to Powell, man. He is like holding firm.
Those two don't get along, do they?
Oh, no. That was a very awkward situation last week, to say the very least. Speaking of awkward, let's put Conrad in some awkward positions as he's going to read some text messages on the Courtesy GMC
I thought we were doing a game of three-man front twister.
Oh, no. No.
I thought we just did that in Atlanta.
Well,
y'all might have.
No, y'all nothing.
I was not
I
involved
woke
in that.
up. Conrad's in the sit-up position.
Good for blood flow.
With toiletries.
Yeah, I'm really not sure. Oh, we need to do that again. Yeah, I'm really not sure what to expect because I've been cutting up the Kalen DeBoer audio, and I just walk in and they go, hey, you're going to read some text messages. So I'm sure y'all are setting me up for success, as you always do. Let's see. Is there one I should start with in particular?
No,
or we just...
no.
Okay. We're just going from the top.
Tired of reading.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, someone texted in and says, I heard Dave Bartow say that last season in SEC games, the road favorite covered in 74% of those games. If you're just looking for some information for your back pocket.
74%?
Yep, road favorites.
Interesting.
Okay, that was one I was willing to read.
Keep that in your back pocket. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Drake chimes in. If Lagway is out the rest of the season or most of the season and Florida goes 6-6, does Billy Napier get fired?
That's a tough one to get a handle on down there with Strickland. And
can you sell him again on one more year with Lagway?
Well, if he gets hurt, then I don't think they fire Napier. I think they realize that DJ Lagway means that much.
Because you don't want him to transfer if you fire Napier.
By the way, if you think Hugh Freeze, just in his delivery, was boring, or Kalen DeBoer, go back and get you some Billy Napier right at bedtime.
All right, I see what we're getting into now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Andrew chimes in. You can have all the length and girth you want on the field, but you still got to have the balls to play the game. Footballs.
Thank you for clarifying.
Mm-hmm. This one comes in. A lot of length and a lot of girth. I guess it really does just mean a lot more in the SEC. Thank you for chiming in.
And for those that are just tuning in and what the context of the length and girth, this is what Hugh Freeze said this morning during his press conference.
You need length and girth in this league. You need length and girth in this league.
So for anybody that was uncertain.
That's why these text messages are referencing that.
Correct. That is why we have very creative listeners on the text line. Let's see this one. Yeah, length and girth can come in handy. Yeah. Well, games are won and lost in the trenches, right?
Yes.
Let's see. Someone says, Conrad, remember Tennessee put us on probation. Bama needs to beat them down some more. I guess talking about the poll question of why you would want Alabama, Tennessee to stay instead of Alabama and Georgia, because you want to continue to put a whooping on them, even though they have delivered a whooping 2 of the last 3 years. Let's see. Ken chimes in. He says, Alabama doesn't want to be in the position of Clemson or Auburn. Don't play Georgia so you don't lose to Georgia. Okay. So that's one of the opponents that Alabama's fared better with in recent memory, but fair point. Oh, God. I mean, this is a minefield. I mean,
why do you think he deferred to you?
I mean, I understand, but
I really wasn't tired of reading. I just didn't want to read them.
You don't say. This one's good. Posey chimes in. Says length and girth. Sounds like Hugh Freeze wants to stretch the field this year. It's a good one.
That is a good one.
Lewis chimes in. If you have the length and the girth, you can brag about an 8-4 season. Someone else chiming in. That's something I've heard from my old high school crush once before.
Crush?
Crush. Somebody said, I bet Molly's dad is really proud his daughter is a part of this show today. Oh my gosh. I cannot read like 75% of these. I'm trying really hard to find a way to reword them, and I can't.
There's just some of them. There's no way around it. You just got to jump in.
I want to read this one really bad, but I'm a little scared.
Which one is it?
Steve from Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, is that 1241?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I think you're good.
You think I'm good? Steve from Tuscaloosa chimes in. Regardless of length and girth, it all comes down to hitting the right spot for success.
It does. Offensive line can open up holes, but you got to run through the right hole. Yeah.
Did you say run through the right hole?
Run through the right hole, run through the right gap. Hit the hole.
Someone chimes in. They say Hugh Freeze's aw shucks approach is growing old. Can't wait for him to be gone after this disastrous season. Smokey from Jasper chimes in. He says, so was the question Hugh Freeze was asked, was that about the WNBA game last night?
Apparently it was giveaway night in the WNBA.
Did we find out, is that what was going on?
I think it was just one fan that received it.
Oh.
Did you see what was going on at Yankee Stadium the other day? Did you see that video that was going around?
I don't think I did.
Maybe with that glow-in-the-dark thing, maybe they turned the arena lights down. They're like, now it's time to show your spirit. Pick up your glow-in-the-dark turkey baster. What game was that?
It was
Atlanta.
Atlanta and somebody.
Yeah.
So that'd be the Mystics?
Sure.
Are they the Mystics?
I don't think so. What's
Dream.
Dream?
Oh, yeah, Dream.
I think they are.
Who were they playing last night? Don't you have the WNBA package on your DirecTV?
I don't have DirecTV, remember? That's you.
That is you.
I do have DirecTV,
The
but
small fortune you pay those people.
I promise you, I do not have the WNBA package.
That was last night. They were playing Golden State, the new team.
Oh, the Valkyrie?
Oh.
Interesting.
This text comes in. I'm a big-time Auburn fan, but the more that I listen to Hugh Freeze talk, I don't understand how he can motivate anybody to do a darn thing, especially put on pads and go hit somebody. Let's see. Joey from Alabaster says, it appears that my wife has the same physical requirements as head coach Hugh Freeze. Thank you for the text. A lot of you chiming in on a situation with a certain player from Auburn, and as we heard from Hugh Freeze at the opening of his presser today, that based on the information that he has been given and the investigation that is ongoing, that Malcolm Simmons was cleared to play, and that's why he is out there on the practice field today. Let's see. Someone says, I am dying driving around today. Listen to the discussion concerning length and girth. I don't know how you guys hold it together.
Strength.
It's tough.
It's hard. It's hard, but we get through it.
Hastings chimes in.
Of course he does.
Is Hugh talking about the SEC or his favorite movie sequel, The Hills Have Thighs?
All right. Thanks for your text messages. Appreciate everybody.
Thanks for getting me fired.
Yeah, they don't get any cleaner.
And speaking of that front, ESPN has officially cut ties with Shannon Sharpe. 2 weeks ago, Shannon Sharpe had settled his lawsuit with his ex-girlfriend who accused him of rape. Sharpe is now unemployed by Disney. More three-man front. This is Jox. $135 on Jox. We'll do some Pat Ponders coming up next. 1-800-239-WJOX is the phone number. Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450.
Well, let me be direct because Diamonds Direct really lives up to its name. There's no middleman. There's no runaround. Just incredible diamonds straight from the source. And the price is way more reasonable than I expected. You get exactly what you want, and you don't have to empty your savings to do it. The place is stunning. It's clean, modern, and bright, and everything sparkles. And it's not just the jewelry. It's the staff as well. They really listen. You can tell them exactly what you're looking for, what you're able to spend, what kind of style they want, or what kind of style you want, and they can find it for you. And right now, there's a pretty amazing deal going on. You buy an engagement ring, and you get the wedding band free. Seriously, that's a free wedding band, so lucky you if you're thinking about getting engaged. So go and check them out at the Cahaba Village in Mountain Brook.
All right, Pat Ponders brought to you each and every day by Courtesy GMC.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville, right off of I-459 exit 32. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. Question number 1. Which SEC coach will catch the most heat from their fan base if they lose in week 1?
Oh, it's got to be Brian Kelly. I say it's got to be Brian Kelly. Hugh Freeze will definitely catch it.
Or Kalen DeBoer for
No.
losing to Florida State?
Well, yeah.
Being almost a 2-touchdown favorite and losing. I'm with Molly. I think it's Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
No, it's Lane Kiffin. If they lose as a what? Who do they play week 1? Is it Georgia State? Is it 38
It's
and
like
a half point?
40-point favorite or something.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Molly though. I think it's absolutely Kalen DeBoer. You go 9-4, then you followed up the next year by losing to an unranked opponent in week 1.
Who lost 10 games the season before?
Yeah.
That Winnebago trip from Tallahassee for you is going to be brutal.
It's going to be awful. I might have to ride on the roof.
So who'd you say, Brian Kelly?
Yeah, just because they've lost so many openers, but you got a top.
That would
five,
be the funniest.
You got a top 5 team. Now, Kalen DeBoer, that's when it's more serious. That's when you start worrying about his personal well-being.
Yeah. Just kidding, Coach.
That's when you got security outside the home. They're X-raying every vehicle that comes in the subdivision. I don't know where he lives.
See, at least with Brian Kelly, when he loses, though, you get really funny memes and stuff out of it. When Kalen, you're not getting that from him.
He just smiles and shakes hands and walks on.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Is the path to the SEC championship easier or harder under the new division-less format?
Oh, it's way harder. Because, Georgia, they hopped and skipped into the SEC championship game every year, it felt like, for a while under Kirby's. Yeah, I think it's way harder now that you actually have to play everybody.
But on the flip side of that, the SEC West was so daggum difficult.
It was.
Yeah, but I guess if you look at, Auburn's playing Alabama and Georgia.
To me, I would say
still.
that the SEC back in division play, it was tougher for an SEC West team
it was
to
easier
making
for
it
an
to
East.
Atlanta than it is now with a non-divisionless format.
Okay,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, because
makes sense.
we take Auburn. You took Auburn, for example. They don't play LSU. They don't play Ole Miss. Those two teams obviously don't have to play Auburn. Alabama in the case of Ole Miss. But as a whole, I would say it was easier with divisions just because of the Eastern Division most years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just Georgia skipping. There was Florida the year.
South
they were under
Carolina.
McElwain,
Missouri
South
2 years in a
Carolina.
row.
Yeah, Missouri.
Man, if only Texas A&M had been in the East, they could have gone to Atlanta and played for one. But now,
Could have. What did you say, Molly?
I think it's harder now.
Harder now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, question number 3. What's one opinion about your favorite sports team that would get you booed by your own fan base? Ooh, kind of stumped y'all on this one.
That one's hard. Like for this upcoming season or just...
What's one opinion about your
general?
favorite sports team that would get you booed by your own fan base?
I don't know. After this year, it might be that I still like Kalen DeBoer. In a year from now, I'm trying to...
See, for Nebraska, I'm almost thinking expectations-wise, because I know, especially when I was a student and when Frost was head coach, like, listen, I know we like to joke, oh, we're off-season national champions every year because something would always happen in the off-season. Oh, we're so going to be back. But I was always kind of a realist in that situation, and I always kind of knew we probably weren't going to be very good again. Even though a lot of people kind of would bring a lot of hype going into the season. Again, this was mainly when I was in college, not as much now. But I was always
So you were
kind
just
of,
too positive?
No, I was like negative enough where I was like,
negative.
for example, the year we went 3-9, like me and all my friends did our predictions and I predicted 3-9 and they all got mad at me for it. And I was like,
Okay.
no, and what happened? We went 3-9. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I can agree with that in the sense that I think Yeah, I mean, I think, again, what everyone knows, I'm an Alabama fan. I think I'm very critical of Alabama, and so it's funny because you get people that are, oh, you know, all you do is you're a Bama homer, but then the Alabama fans are, well, why are you so critical of Alabama? And it's because, I mean, it's something that I care about, and I'm going to criticize that. But I mean, I guess right now I would say, and some people would agree with this, but you know, the dynasty, that whole conversation, that's so long gone in the past. Like I'm so past that. It's a new era of Alabama football, and I know people want to hang on to the dynasty and, oh, well, what if you win a title this year? Does it continue on? And no, I just think it's completely different now. I think the dynasty's dead. It's a new era of Alabama football, and you need to
So that is your
put
opinion
that in the
that
past.
the fan base would boo you about? Is you saying the dynasty is dead?
Yeah, and that we need to move on and put that in the past and
Okay.
accept that we are in a new era of Alabama football, and it's going to be different.
Mine's going to be Major League Baseball, the Braves. I think it will be at least 3 years before we see the Braves back in the playoffs.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Wow, yeah.
Okay. Question number 4. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is in Europe this week. He's holding multiple meetings with potential stakeholders of the NBA's planned European Basketball League. Should the NBA just add a European division to its current NBA, or should they launch this whole brand new league?
It's kind of like if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody notice? Or did either way, I don't think. No, just do it. Do a Euro League. It's great. Do a Euro League.
You do not need to add because you already have a problem. There's too many games. Players take too many games off. They don't want to, you know, they get tired. Oh, you know, they need their rest breaks, all this stuff. And that's only going to be expanded on if you have to travel overseas. People aren't going to want to go on the travel. They're going to say, oh, well, let me stay home for this trip because, you know, I'm going to set out the game anyways. And I just think it's going to add too many extra loopholes to jump through over the course of a season that's already too long and convoluted, in my opinion.
I'm a Landry. Well, most people really care. So doesn't make a difference to me.
All the best players come to the NBA anyways.
Now we go to them.
I mean, for every Luka or Giannis or whoever, you know, you got a couple hundred that are not going to make it in the NBA. So,
All right, final question of today. If you've ever hit an animal with your car, did you stop to check on its well-being?
Yes. It was horrible. I don't even want to relive it.
Was it a dog?
Yep.
Oh.
On the interstate, there was no way. I locked down the truck. They came out of nowhere. It was 2 that had gotten. Yeah, it was bad, and actually got out. Almost got hit by a semi that was coming by. It was horrible. It ruined my week. There's nothing I could do. Even with a squirrel or something, if they're still kind of flopping around, I'll go and do a courtesy run back over.
Just to put them out of its misery?
Yeah. I don't want it suffering.
Yeah, I'll look in the rear view. But see, I've never hit a dog. I've never hit a cat. I've never hit a deer. You know, I think I hit like a turtle one time or something. It was in the road, and that one made me feel sad. But yeah, I mean, if I hit a squirrel, like I'm probably just going.
I hit a squirrel one time in high school and I cried. I felt so bad about it. That's the only animal I've ever hit.
Did you run it back over like Landrum did?
No, I'm not that evil.
No, the dog, I cried.
Yeah, I cried.
Yeah, that would.
I felt so bad about it.
And it still, even though there was nothing I could do, it still didn't make me.
Yeah, of course it's not gonna make you
Why
feel
me?
any better. Yeah.
Why at that particular time?
Ugh, it
was awful.
That is today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. Get by and see them right off of I-459 exit 32. The best deals you're going to find anywhere on a brand new GMC is right there in Trustful, courtesybirmingham.com.
The fun continues. The worst thing that Conrad had seen. Do it next.
A few more minutes left to go on this edition of Three Man Front. Appreciate you tuning in today. If you missed any of our interviews, including an outstanding interview with Ralph Russo from The Athletic, breaking down all of college football, and also Pete Mundo from the Heartland College Sports website, Big 12 preview. It was outstanding. Let's do some worst thing I've seen. Let's see what Conrad has been up to.
This is the worst thing I've seen.
Been in quarantine and I need to get out and party. Woo! What's better than beach and a few drinks and Jeeps? Man, it getting better than that. Law enforcement's definitely made their visitability and made people chill out and not be as crazy.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
Well, here's the payoff some of you have probably been looking for because we have alluded to this throughout the show today.
I'll just say it.
There was a situation at a WNBA game last night, and we've talked about it, we've joked about it, and so now let's get to the bottom of it, okay? So in Atlanta last night, you had a game between the Atlanta Dream and the Golden State Valkyries. It was a heated battle, by the way, absolutely heated battle, because they were tied 75-75 with less than a minute to go in the game. Good basketball game right there. Good basketball game. When an object fell from above, bounced on the free throw line, and then flew onto the court at Gateway Center Arena. The broadcasting crew managed to hold it together. If you were seeing the video on social media, they did their best.
Was it a hairbrush? Batteries.
It uses batteries. Some of them do.
What is...
Flashlight? They throw a flashlight on the court?
Portable fan.
It was not a flashlight.
It's not a flashlight. It was not a portable fan. Was it? Well, I was thinking foam finger, but those don't use batteries. Hang on. You get more guesses.
Hit the flashlight one. Just. Did you have another guess, Landrum?
I can't really think of anything else that would. You said it flopped around.
Uh-huh.
They threw it out of the stands, so it bounced.
Yes, correct.
What is it made out of? Give me a hint. Is it
rubber?
Okay.
I would imagine.
So it is rubber.
I would think so. Anyways, continuing on with the random rubber object that landed on the court in the middle of the WNBA game last night, you had the Valkyries play-by-play announcer who could be heard on the broadcast saying, quote, "Something flies on the court. I think there was something that flew from a fan onto the court." But before he knew exactly what it was a lime green object that
so we have a color now.
Could maybe be comparable to what Hugh Freeze said earlier. Do you want to connect some dots to two stories that we've been
expectant
going through today? Yeah, no, not that one. The other one. But yeah, so you can see. I really don't know what to say. A green toy that had fallen onto the court and was then kind of nestled.
I know.
Between the players' feet.
What is it, Pat?
Well, I was just going to say, if you remember Bill Belichick's girlfriend's mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she would sell these at her brick and mortar store.
What did you say?
Whore. He said whore. That's her mother.
That was a slip of the tongue.
It's her mother, dude. The place you're talking about is Arrows, right?
Y'all are putting me in some really bad situations today.
You said it.
You did.
We didn't set you up.
At least be cash with it and say ho. But you said whore.
That is not what I meant. I apologize for the slip of the tongue.
I hope my parents aren't listening.
I hope they're not either. I also hope my parents are not listening, particularly my mother. But anyways, after this toy had landed on the court, police and security from the arena were then brought down to the court to remove the object. You can then see in a video that has now gone viral on social media as the cameraman, kudos to the cameraman, zooms in on the object where this was, you couldn't miss it if you were watching the game. This was exactly what they wanted it to be, and they had the police officer pick up the toy and remove it from the court.
I was going to say, you probably don't ask one of the little ball boys with the mops and the towels that go clean up the slick spots to go out there and grab that thing.
No, but they did give the police officer a towel to remove the item from the floor with. That was nice of them at least. That was absolutely brutal to get through.
WNBA, man. Staying relevant. That's going to do it for us. Appreciate all of your interaction today. You can always catch the podcast. Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, Rob Pate. We continue as fall practice continues. God is great. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.